I like that this was like, we're like, this is a JoJolion stream, the entire chat. JoJo Oh, well, to be fair, that's like the only thing they have to look at right now. Rank JoJolion out of 10. Out of 10. Reading the room.
8. There's a lot of 8s.
We're gonna have to be more than ever JoJolion's biggest haters.
We love JoJolion.
We love JoJolion, but also we are going to destroy Araki's credibility. We'll avoid talking about that character for as long as we can.
Okay, all right. We need to step back a bit. All right. So for the past year and a half, I have been constantly saying I am working on a JoJolion retrospective that is going to be my main priority for JoJo content. It's not happening. Sorry. This is the replacement for that. This is the best that I can do because my life is focused on my own education and shit like that. There's really like no time in the day for me to work on it, and when I do get time in the day, it's really hard to motivate myself for it. I apologize. This is going to be the replacement for that. We're going to be talking on it as much as we can. Yeah, there's probably going to be a VOD, and I'm most likely going to chop it up for like a highlights video, just so my thoughts on JoJolion can be succinctly put into one place. Yeah. Hopefully, if this stream isn't a disaster, that can happen. This is very much like a test run for the future of like JoJo Lands chapter reviews, however that's gonna work.
We're getting JoJo Lands this week. JoJo Lands, just a week away. Oh, I can't believe it.
I can't.
JoJo Lands, just a week away.
It came so soon.
I'm so excited about this information. Can you guys believe it? All right, so I think Gappy is my second favorite protagonist after Jolene.
I think he is my favorite, mainly due to Stockholm Syndrome, but...
That's okay, you're way more invested. When did you start reading JoJo Lands?
Okay,
JoJolion. This is gonna be hard.
Yeah. Rocky, man, why do you have to name them like the exact same shit?
I think he's kind of hot. Me too! I think they're all hot. Except Johnny, I think he smells bad.
I like Gappy a lot. Honestly, he and Yasuho, like, single-handedly carry JoJolion for the majority of its run. While I don't think that they eventually reach very satisfying conclusions with their arc, it stays compelling the entire way through, and that's very rare for sorts of characters like this. And I think just like from their interactions to like their presence in the story, they are some of the best that JoJo does have to offer.
What makes Gappy work for me is, first off, the fact that he has no memories really draws you into his character because you get to literally grow with him. And because of that, it's a whole identity thing. He's got his quirks, and all of his quirks are fun, but I think what really sells him for me is his design, because I see a lot of people giving him flack for being a little too simple looking, but I think it's so effective, because look, he's just a weird little sailor guy, and for some reason the part 9 guy is the one with the boat, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, no, I think he's a good protagonist. I like Yasuho too. Yasuho is, I originally didn't get Yasuho, and it's like I was kind of expecting like a quirk, because like that's how I expect JoJo characters, like, oh, there's just a walking quirk, but she's very nuanced, and I'm like, oh, I'm literally Danny DeVito gifting. I get it now. Do you think in retrospect Yasuho wasn't utilized enough in arcs and was too separated from the rest of the cast?
I don't. I think she was mishandled a lot though. Whenever like there's oftentimes that Yasuho is just like fucking shoved into a car door and just had it like slammed on her head repeatedly, constantly. She gets screwed over so often, man. Then there's
Mamazuku
just, like,
threw her off the ski lift. I still think about that moment.
You see, when it happens that like it's intentional and from the like actions of another character that is prominent in the story that doesn't like her all that much, that's funny. I like that a lot. But oftentimes it just feels like Araki kind of doesn't give her much headway in any like reasonable way. Like even at the very end, Wonder Review arc, she was right the entire time. She was constantly proven right, and she gets nothing out of it. No comeuppance. Like no apologies from Gappy, although there isn't much time.
And then the part literally ends with her going, "Okay, I guess I'll leave. Bye guys. I guess that's my cue."
I didn't need them to be like together at the end, because that just feels like it wasn't the focus. That was just a side thing. But like it would have felt better if like she was also kind of brought in with the family at the very end.
Araki needed them to be happy. My brother in Christ, he's writing the story. I think this is from X-Force's big video, but I think what really I've been thinking is like, I wish like if Araki's gonna be writing a romance, let's lean into that a bit more. You know, let's have like a little date. I want to see him. Well, they did have a date, like the fried chicken. Remember the funnies, guys? Top 10 funniest JoJolion moments. Number 1, fried chicken.
And well, the unfortunate thing about that is, as soon as that happened, he's immediately like swept away by Carrera, and that goes on to like home wrecker. And that like goes on a complete tangent. Like they're together again for like 5 minutes, but yeah.
I relate to Norsuke because that parfait, true. Honestly, why does anime food look so good? Daya does not do herself any favors with her introduction. Love the Deluxe.
If anyone says California King Bed, I'll kill. I was gonna say California King Bed, I'm sorry.
It's kind of rough.
California King Bed is not... like, in hindsight, it's not great.
But do you know what?
Banning any California King Bed slander can't ban me.
But you know what I think is a pretty interesting arc? The first one. Soft and wet with fun. Let's talk about that.
So the interesting thing about JoJolion is when it starts, it is very intriguing. There's so much established in that first chapter that you just don't realize unless you like really focus in on it and take everything else out. First of all, the fact that like Josuke doesn't get his name until like the end of Fun. You don't even know what his deal is at this point in time. But we have visual motifs from the original Josuke. We learned that Yasuho is her last name being Hirose like mentioned that chapter or the next chapter? It's
mentioned I think it's like literally in her monologue. I need to take over because this is these people get me. A lot of people are gassing up Ojiro and fun. Let me tell you guys, one day I was reading chapter whenever he returns in the Wonder Review, I was reading that, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna make this guy my whole personality. Because, let's face it, this guy is so funny. Kiryoshikage goes, so, like, what's your deal, man? And it stresses him out so much, he eats his fingers and becomes the world's biggest hater, but he's also a coward. He's so fascinating and weird, and then he just fucks off for a while, and then comes back and eats garbage, and I love him so much. There's a big Ojiro saved hold of my heart. And you know what? This skin suit looking guy from JoJo Lands preview.
You're getting Ojiro energy from him?
I'm getting Ojiro energy, even though I know he's probably gonna be like a literal one-off character, like, ooh, I like to eat my hot dog before going in the water, as opposed to after, and then JoJo Lands snaps his neck and then you never see him again. But here's the hoping.
Oh man, I hope he's a major character and he's just an agent of chaos. That would be great.
Eating garbage is the best moment in all of JoJo. True. Ojiro Returns is the best. True.
100% garbage.
Dude, I love
100% trash.
Ojiro represents JoJolion as a whole to me. It's a bit weird, really different, odd in places too, but I love it with all my heart. Me! This guy's me for real!
And just like JoJolion, Ojiro dies at the very end.
That's deep. That's good. That's good. Let's change the image. I've been looking at this cover art goes hard. That's a really good. And then there's I think there was like a really interesting thing that happened in the fun fight. There was like this. I don't know if anyone noticed this. Gappy like had this memory where he remembered like this guy.
Oh Jesus Christ! We're getting there already.
I don't think. Well, I mean, like, I don't think anyone else picked up on that. I think I'm the only one that noticed that there was like this flashback guy of sorts.
Some kind of.
So what are we? Some
Bravo, man.
So what are we? Some kind of drop plot point?
Okay, so. All right. I can't ignore the elephant in the room. JoJo Lands does kind of resemble this sort of flashback man.
You are delusional. Me when I am delusional.
I'm just saying, it would make sense. I actually said when like JoJolion was finishing that the only way that Flashback Man could make sense within the story is if while Josuke mistook it for a flashback, it was actually a premonition of some kind of him meeting.
Dog, I don't want to break your heart, but
no, all right,
you realize this is a tall ask. If it happens,
I don't.
I'll pop up. I know. I'm with you.
I'm not holding out my hopes for it, but that's all. Like I said that long before we even got like shown anything for JoJo Lands. Before that was even like a twinkle in Araki's eye. So I'm not getting my hopes up. The possibility's there though.
Alright, okay.
Yoshikage, that like beginning section, that is amazing. Alright, so Araki does kind of lead you on in a way that if you're paying a lot of attention, which most likely you're not because it's JoJo and that tends to cause problems. But like it's a bit heavy-handed in how he handles it, but most people aren't going to notice that. Like he's leading you on to suspect Gappy essentially of being a serial killer.
Because we know who Yoshikage Kira is.
Right.
That guy's crazy. Can we ban Elementor 374? I don't like the energy they're bringing to this stream. I've gone mad with power. You ever not go mad with power? It's boring. No one listens to you. So Gappy has his quirks, and then after that, it's California King Bed stuff. I think the most effective stuff is, hey, here's this wacky Higashikata family.
Narisuke is weird.
I like him.
At the beginning, like
he's like driving with his feet or something, right? Or maybe he just has his feet out.
No, like that part, that feels like regular Narisuke. Like he's a goofy, wacky guy. He talks about being a Yankee.
Oh, are you talking about like when he's like kind of like, is he evil? Who is this guy?
He functions like Bruno Bucerati, basically.
Bruno, but DILF?
Yes. Narisuke deserved better.
Narisuke's the only one that lived!
Yeah, but...
Spoilers,
alright.
The only one in the body pack... Oh, no.
He lived? His life is shit, though, now. He's going to wake up to his dead eldest son.
His other son has a baby arm, and...
I guess the Higashikata curse is gone, like, small victories there. His ex-wife is gone, I mean, good for him, yeah, but, that causes some issues.
Write that down. Why was the bookmarker's mark on the fucking staircase? I don't really care. Opinions on Narisuke's hair balls or actual balls. I like the hair balls in this part. There's 3 characters who have them. There's
Fumi, there's Narisuke,
and Yasuho.
Oh yeah, I guess those kind of are hair balls. I just consider them like clips or something.
And then there's Wu Tomiki, who has like the
whatever that is.
Man, Norisuke's really got it rough. Now don't worry, Jobin's coming. Yeah. Any. Remember when that happened? We're like, oh, he's gonna cauterize the wounds. He's gonna cauterize the wounds. And he's gonna beat up.
Oh man! Remember when we believed in Jobin?
I believed in Jobin just because it was like, oh my god, chapter 95 happens. He made a decision, and that's gonna have consequences. Oh my god, this is an interesting direction. And then, hey, let's just remove anything interesting and just off him right now. And yeah. Man, we are really struggling not to just jump to the end. Who's gonna run the business? Jo-shu? Okay. If JoJolion is gonna get like any connection to JoJo Lands, I pray to God it will be like an implication that Jo-shu has turned it into this like conglomerate empire that like sells hot dogs and stuff like that.
I don't think JoJo Lands is going to be that far ahead of JoJolion.
Yeah, no, JoShu's just on the Sigma grind set that he
within a month
the turnaround.
He just knows his shit, man.
Jobin was not a disappointment, but I will agree that it was like, come on, you guys. I need to see his tiny armor. I don't think I need to see anyone from JoJolion. That's the thing. Except Tsurugi. Tsurugi's my number one. If anyone's to return, Tsurugi's got to be there.
I feel like just like getting a sense of what's going on with the Higashikata family is enough, but we need to see Gappy again. I'm not content with where we left off Gappy for a number of reasons. What if, holy fuck, that's way too big.
Chapter 1 starts, and it's like just in like the narration bubble. Gappy died also.
He died of a cold.
He would later die. Funniest thing Araki has ever wrote. Jo-shu Sigma millionaire grind set. Let's agree, Jo-shu's awful, but I'm saying Sigma as in a joke. But he's me looking at the Jo-shu on the table. You're terrible. Mitsuba's unborn child? That'd be cool. I'm more invested in Tsurugi, but I'd like to meet whoever that little baby is. Grown-up Tsurugi, soft and wet design. So, yes, true. I love soft and wet design. At first, like, it was like, I'm like, why is his torso so big? But I kind of like it. I know White House goes hard. True. Tsurugi main villain. Hey, I like bad ideas, but maybe let's not push the envelope here.
Weird to me that like that was it for Tsurugi.
I was talking to my roommate, and we were like, hey, what's your favorite stands in the series? I'm like, mine's Black Sabbath. He was like, Paper Moon King, and I'm like, honestly, that's kind of based. I like Paper Moon King. It's a great ability. I like the art.
All right, Paper Moon King is a really good like core concept. Cool visually. It has like its own aesthetic to it. I love the during Ozone Baby, where he's making the origami and like sending it out into the orchard on fire, and it's like kind of autonomous, like it dances around. It's really cute. It's really cool. It's fucking disastrous for the narrative when you think at all times that everything can be an illusion.
I was having such a cope thing because I was genuinely thinking like, oh, surely JoJolion's not going to end at chapter 110. There's got to be more. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be like a paper fold in the end, and it's all along this horrible arc. I will wake up from this nightmare because Paper Moon King evolved, and I was coping. That is the hardest I have ever coped, and I cannot wait for JoJo Lands to prove that wrong.
There was like a period of time where I just thought, man, one of these chapters, Tsurugi is going to wake up and he's going to be sitting on that fountain, and Wonder of You was a dream.
Wonder of You was a dream. So, okay, after California King Bed was Born This Way, which rules?
Born This Way is great, man.
Kei Nijimura. I remember when her name was Kyo. What happened? How'd that go about?
Okay, so this is just like some Japanese shit. So kanji doesn't have any inherent pronunciations to it. It's based on like certain systems of pronunciation. Mm-hmm. So the kanji that Kei's name is written in can be read in multiple different ways. This is the same like function for how Josuke can be read as JoJo. Right? So in the page before most of the JoJolion volumes, there's like a sheet with a bunch of characters on it. You remember that?
Yes.
Alright. In that sheet, whenever Kei's name was listed, it had the kanji for her name and then the furigana above it, which dictated its pronunciation. So like it said, this is her name, this is how it's written, and then it's pronounced Kyo. this was incorrect. It was not written by Araki. It was written by like editors or the publishers or whatever, who just assumed based on the kanji that was given, that was how her name was supposed to be pronounced. It was not. It was supposed to follow the kind of connotations of Keicho from part 4.
Oh, that's actually really... Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Huh. So it was just like a kind of mix-up that was never remedied because I guess Araki wasn't sure that Kei would return, so he didn't want to like change something when it wasn't really relevant.
We're learning new things. Hey, chat. Say some. Say. Let Aeon know if you learned something new just now.
Was this a similar issue as the Toru 10 thing?
Somehow.
No, that's a product of romanization, which is taking the original name in Japanese and translating it to the Roman alphabet, essentially. So for English or whatever, any Romance language. Because it's different writing systems, how you translate it over is mostly going to be like sound based. So it's like you could either write it with one O or two O's to convey the same meaning. There's like different people who think it should be one way or the other. Personally, I prefer Toru with two O's because it looks better, in my opinion. But yeah.
Time will tell. It's like how everyone called Part 5 Vento Oreo, and then now I never find myself saying that. I always call it Golden Wind.
I still call it Vento Oreo just by habit.
Yeah, I outgrew the habit because I'm like, I speak English. Let's who am I kidding?
Vento Oreo sounds cool though. I do like it.
I think what I like the most about Born This Way is it's the lemon and the tangerine, and I think the lemon and the tangerine will go down as just like one of the hardest scenes, not only in JoJolion but like in the entire series, because it's like here's like the reveal to the first big mystery, but also like there's so much more to explore. It sends the plot in direction. It's like, this is what JoJolion's gonna do. Let's do this. And Gappy's crying because I would be crying too if I find out that I'm his pronouns are they, them. Not because they're non-binary, but they're literally two people.
Lemon and the Tangerine is so great because it just has like, one, it's a cool reveal that was built up well. It was heavily foreshadowed. But two, and more importantly than that, it's conveyed in such a fantastic way. It has like a good visual representation of what exactly is going on
with the lemon,
and the tangerine mixed together.
God. I never figured out why they called the chapter that, but now to be fair, I didn't read. No, I'm kidding. I read.
And just like it's an impactful moment because like, all right, there is the plot-based thing of this build-up that you are finally learning what's going on. There is the visual motif given of the lemon and the tangerine, where it just like conveys it in a really succinct and really cool way. And there's the emotional beats that Gappy is kind of refusing to accept what's going on here. He's panicking a little because what exactly does this mean for him at this point? And I really love that.
And then is it
Shakedown Road.
It's yes. Shakedown Road right after that?
Shakedown Road's cool. I like Shakedown Road. I think it's not Joshua's best. Milagro Man is Joshua's best.
It's Jo-shu bringing it down for me, and it's also like, I think it's just because JoJolion was the entire time I was reading JoJolion, I was constantly asking myself, am I stupid or is this stupid? Like, I wasn't sure if like Araki has reached this point where like his themes and stuff are like so far ahead of my comprehension that I'm just being left behind, or if a bunch of dudes tumbling in the leaves and balls to catch up to Josuke is just... Actually, no, Shakedown Road owns. What am I talking about? It's awesome.
I think Shakedown Road mostly suffers from the fact that there's no really... The character that you're facing is just the road.
And I think the biggest problem is that like it's like, oh my god, lemon and tangerine. Oh my god, who am I? Ooh, I gotta figure this out. I'm gonna go to school, like, and then we're gonna go on this funny adventure, and it's like,
and it never pays off. Nothing is relevant about that.
It's a tough act to follow. I think every JoJo part like has like those like few arcs for me where I'm like, I would rearrange them differently if I were in charge. But then again, I'm really fucking stupid. So I understand that if I were to rewrite JoJo and like not even rearrange JoJo, I think it would be a horrible series, but I would like it.
Non-standard users using a stand is neat. Yeah, that's probably my favorite part of...
That's for sure the best part.
Yeah. Any kind of, like, non-human stand ability tends to be some of the most interesting stuff that we get in that part. Like, Sugar Mountain Spring. Sugar Mountain Spring is, like, one of my favorite arcs of Steelbow Run.
Yeah, and honestly, Nut King Call introduction was great because honestly, Nut King Call, even though nothing much came up, like I think he used a Milagro Man and to look at his mom's titties, but aside from that,
oh my god,
Nut King Call,
put it like that,
ability and design wise is really a cool stand, and honestly, great. Like great introduction. You know, it's just a shame every time I try to think about Jo-shu, like there's like this static TV screen image in my mind, and I can't. He was cool, right? Did I miss something? I can't look, like I'm trying to imagine Jo-shu in my mind.
Jo-shu was never cool, but that's what made him fun.
You keep telling yourself that.
No, because like it's fun to just have a loser that you don't want to root for. He's the Waluigi, man.
Yeah, to be fair, I think the funniest part about Jo-shu is that he was literally like, he's ruining my life. I can't have my room
doing anything.
And he's also delusional, so he doesn't like. It's not actually sad. It's funny because he's like, he took my girlfriend. She wasn't your girlfriend. He took my girlfriend. Oh my god.
Jo-shu's great, but Jo-shu's awful.
Nut King Call is Araki just wanting to reuse Soft and Wet's old ability, right? No. We should talk about Soft and Wet's old ability.
It was Jo-shu's ability, yeah.
I think it was like I understand why Araki probably pumped the brakes and said like, hey, maybe stealing things, like stealing concepts would be good. But honestly, if he leaned into that, I would wonder what the story would look like. I understand why Soft and Wet had to be simplified over time, but if he made it really weird, I would like to see what would have happened. Probably not much different.
I don't know.
I love hating Jo-shu. Me too.
The issue is that Soft and Wet as bubbles that can contain things and just like manipulate them that way, and Soft and Wet as tool for removing physical properties from things.
No.
Those are both really fun ideas that you'd want to see explored, but like they shouldn't have been the same stand is what I'm saying. They would have functioned great as separate abilities.
I get it. Honestly, and I think the best part about Shakedown Road is what comes after, and I'm just looking at the volume cover for this, but the introduction of Haruno at the end of the arc was honestly like, I think the thing with Haruno is that it's like he's introduced at like the right time in the story where you're like, of course the other half survived, and it's like they have like their banter, and honestly I feel like we shouldn't even talk about Haruno because I feel like he wasn't even there sometimes. Like when I remember JoJolion, I struggle to actually remember Haruno scenes.
I mean, that just might be that you didn't read it properly. Like, that might be on you, man.
I read the wiki, so what do I know? He should have just gave Plunder to Joseph for the vitamin C arc.
But like at the same time, like, I don't know, I feel like removing friction and stuff like that, like, that feels so tied to Josuke.
Yeah. like again, I just would have liked to see or seen Araki like lean into that more, because I would have seen like what other concepts can you remove from something. Obviously, like it's for me, it's like always just gonna be like a what could have been. I am not complaining that it wasn't used, but I got the taste, and now I'm thirsty for more. And then we got the Johnny flashback, which also people go like Johnny knew nothing but suffering, but he had a good like 5 years between the end of Steel Ball.
Yeah, like
he had a good run.
He had a good long life.
He had a good run.
He needed to be alive just long enough to see Gyro die.
When I'm in a having a shitty life competition and my opponent is Johnny Joestar.
Which JoJo had it worse? Johnny's up there. Is he the worst one?
Johnny definitely had it the worst. I can't
really.
Jolene also had it pretty bad, but
Jonathan had an early death, but like he had a decent life.
Jonathan was bullied by Dio, then was tricked into being his bestie for a couple years, and then it was back to Joseph.
Do you think Jonathan was conscious that whole time that Dio had his body?
I think
it's possible. I mean, his head is gone, but his stand is there.
I mean, we're just driving into fanfiction territory now. You can argue either way. It's gonna be down to
how does a soul work?
Do you know what's gonna happen? Johnny's like, I am the most like tortured protagonist, and the JoJo Lands, the boy walks in going, perhaps I can be of some assistance, and he is like, canon JoJo furry finally. I mean, yeah, we were saying like every alternate universe has something that holds them back. One can't walk, the other lost his memories, and the other's a furry. And that's like, there you go. That's the trifecta right there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish any of those
physical disability.
I wouldn't wish any of those three upon my worst enemy. He's gonna be so cool. He's gonna be so cool. I can't wait.
I actually didn't like Gappy when I first looked at him.
Oh, I immediately looked at it and I'm like, this guy, look at him. Look at him.
I feel like now that I've invested myself a lot more in JoJo, like the aesthetic appeal to me is much more easy to get grasp.
You think that like people who haven't read Part 8 look at this image and go, oh, he can clone himself. That's his ability.
No, Araki just whatever the hell he wants.
When I was watching the Part 4 anime as it came out, I didn't know what was going to happen, and it was the chase opening, and I knew the opening spoiled things, and I remember seeing like how the arrows would fly at Josuke, and I'm like, that's the main villain's stand. He launches arrows at people. And then
symbolic arrows.
And I felt so robbed because I'm like, the bomb shit happened, and I'm like, oh, that's way cooler than what I was saying. Is that I Am a Rock? Are we finally at I Am, or is it? Oh no, it's Paper Moon King after that.
Right. Should we touch on the Bling Bling Baby? I feel like we don't need to.
I don't. You know what? You can write off Bling Bling Baby saying that's just world building.
Yeah, it's just that's weird shit that happened after Johnny died because I don't know, he's a Saint's corpse or some shit. That never got confirmed. That's weird to me.
That
they
Johnny was
went out of their way to confirm all the shit during Radio Gaga, but they didn't confirm anything about Johnny being like having
to be
Saint's
fair,
corpse like abilities.
We can talk about Flashback Man all we want, but I think if there's one thing that might actually be confirmed in Part 9, like this is still something that Part 9 can follow up on, especially if they're going to deal with blessings from the earth.
Possibly, yeah. Do you think we're gonna go back to Morio and JoJo Lands?
Here's one of the things that makes JoJolion not work for me. I think the fact that we're back in Morio really takes away from the part's identity because it's sharing it with Part 4, its setting. And it's a different Morio, sure, but like it's still Morio, and now like it's already hard enough when you say like, oh, I like Josuke. Which one? Okay, I like Gappy. I like Part 4 Josuke. That's why that's the other reason I'm like, if this new protagonist is named Giorno, I'm gonna lose my mind, because I'll be like, oh my god, Giorno's so cool. I love Part 5. Shut the
Joshua.
Joshua. So we have a bet. We were hanging out the other week, and you were like, oh, it's gonna be Joshua. I got a whole $1 on this. Or is it $5? I got a whole $5 bill waiting for me when he says my name is. What if it actually?
If we're being real, you're getting that shit. But like,
could you be?
It could be fun.
Could you imagine if it actually is John? and all these JoJo Lands were just manifesting the entire time.
Oh man, I would take pride in that. I don't care if I'm giving you $5 for being wrong. I'd be happy about that.
What doesn't
Let's get political again, JoJo part about wealth and equality. Hey, I'm down, man.
Chapter 1 is just the main Joestar talking about his manifesto for how he's going to just like destroy capitalism, and I'm reading this going, this may just be peak. This might be peak. I don't want to call
The
it
first
too early.
ever socialist JoJo.
He's gonna sell Rokakukas to get rich. If Rokakukas return, I'm not gonna lie. I will be a little bummed. I don't need to see.
They're inevitable to return.
I know.
I don't even think it's in question. They have mentioned like how many times the Rokakuka is in the Southern Islands. They have like 5 times in JoJolion.
Yeah.
They originated in New Guinea, and now we're getting a new part, and they're saying they're in the subtropic island.
This might just be I just like it when my JoJo parts are like very different in tone, just to give him all a unique.
I think that's
identity.
like going to be the case,
but
though.
It's way too likely, and I'm just coping. What if like we're all like, what's his name? And then like this character's gimmick, he's like, I'm not telling you my name, and we don't find out till the last chapter. He's like, my name was John, by the way, and then that's the end of the part.
Rise of Skywalker moment where he turns to the camera and he's like,
John.
My name is John JoJo.
I'm losing my mind here, man. With the socialist JoJo, I will root for the villain. I mean, I'll root for the socialist, but hey, to each their own. Paper Moon King. So, I think this arc is, I think a lot of people
Awful.
Now, hear me out. A lot of people say this arc really makes Tsurugi look like an awful person. I understand. However, I think it's a fun concept because honestly, the face blindness thing is... You can tell, Araki read an article about face blindness, read an encyclopedia thing, and he's like...
Prosopagnosia, what's that?
And he's like, I want to make a thing about it. And then he has like Tsurugi, and honestly...
He played 999.
There's one part of this arc that's not that great, but the rest of the arc is pretty interesting. It's interesting take, and I don't think it assassinates Tsurugi's character as much as people say it is. Tsurugi's a kid.
He didn't have a character to assassinate at that point.
Yeah, like
he got that afterwards.
He's a kid who's living in a basement. He kind of would want a friend no matter what. And Yasuho does have this track record for being socially tortured, so I mean, like, let's just make that worse. I think it's an interesting. I think
the main issue with it is that it doesn't conclude; it just stops.
True. But what are they gonna?
Nothing is resolved. She just like gives in.
You want Yosuke to come in and beat the shit out of a 9-year-old?
No, but there could have been some kind of conflict resolution that wasn't her just like submitting to the 12-year-old.
What I think what this arc does really well is setting up I Am a Rock, which I Am a Rock is my number 2 after Vitamin C. Like, it's maybe even my number 1. I love
I Am a Rock is something that I don't think about a lot, but like, on reflection, it's a really good arc.
I Am a Rock, I'm actually gonna pop off real quick. I Am a Rock is one of the best, like, mystery fights. It is the fight for JoJolion because, first off, Yotsuyu comes in, and he's weird, and he's like, I am gonna kill you again. Again? We knew this guy? And it's like, everything about him just really works. He's weird. I love Yotsuyu's design so much. He gives me big Bruno energy. Like Cactus Bruno. That's a word.
Cactus Bruno. He looks a lot like Bruno, yeah.
Yeah, but like, the ability is also really creative where it's like you have the sea of things and it's Norisuke going and then Josuke's like, hey, are you an enemy? And Norisuke's like, I'm not your enemy for the following 3 reasons. And he lays him out.
We get some really good Norisuke lines.
Yeah, and then King Nothing gets revealed. Tsurugi goes like, I'm scared for my life. I'm gonna side with this guy. There's so many moving parts and everything makes sense as you're reading through it. And the fight itself is very creative. It's an introduction to rock humans and it introduces the rock humans really well.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's like...
Rock humans, like, when we first learn about them, they're really interesting.
Like, and all the while, we're like, this guy knew Akira. This guy knew, like, something is up with this guy.
He knows something that we don't know.
And then finally, at the very end of the fight, he's the one that tips us off to the Rokakaka for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is how, like, honestly, Vitamin C is the GOAT, but this is a close second. A very close.
It's a very long arc too, like, relatively speaking. It's like 7 chapters long, and it doesn't feel like it drags at all.
No, because it's, like I said, they're constantly doing new things, and everybody has a stake into play. The characters that should take a backseat, like Daya, Jo-shu, they take a backseat. It's not about them. It's not like they're there. They are literally just not there, and good for it.
It feels like that's the point at which JoJolion becomes more than just about the Higashikatas.
I Am a Rock is kind of boring. Ban them. You're wrong.
No, we accept all opinions here, even Toru fans.
The only issue that stands I Am a Rock, but him becoming a rock is unrelated. True, but I Am a Rock is a goated song reference because
also, I kind of view it as him being like the introduction stand user to the rock humans. So I Am a Rock is more about what the rock humans are.
Like,
even if the ability is kind of unrelated.
If Paper Moon King had the squeaky wheel of like Jo-shu, this arc has no like squeaky wheels. The only thing you could say is that, oh, the cellophane coming out of his eyes was a little weird. Yes, if that's
that just kind of makes like, man, the rock humans, what the
like, what is this thing?
It doesn't go anywhere, but it doesn't really need to if you think about it.
It's great because it's like after Paper Moon King and Shakedown Road, we've kind of been meandering a little bit, but this brings us right back on track. Right. Josuke's like, who am I? This guy has the answers, but there's something bigger here. There's something more happening.
Yeah. It's kind of like what makes JoJolion into what it is.
Yeah.
At that point. Like, there was already a clear identity for JoJolion before this point, but this makes, like, it kind of, like, separates JoJolion from what it started as and what it became.
Is that true, by the way?
What?
I Am a Rock's localized name is I Rock.
I need to look that up. Hold on.
I Rock.
Yeah, it's I Rock.
Oh, that's funny. That's Yotsuyu putting his hands on his hips going,
so
I'm the best. I'm the best. Honestly, the ability's cool because he can touch you and just say like here's why Yotsuyu's the best. He can touch me and go, hot single women in your area, and then I mean, I'll be crushed to death, but what a way to go.
Oh boy. Alright, after that point, we get the best chapter in all of JoJolion. Second best chapter.
Which chapter?
Josuke go to the Higashikata fruit parlor.
Oh, no. I thought he went to the fruit parlor when Jobin was introduced. Oh, is this?
Yeah, Jobin is introduced in the next chapter.
I thought it was after
his arc is...
Oh, no, because no, you're right.
Jubiwa follows up on them getting the car keys from Jobin, so...
I Am a Rock is terrifying. Yeah, it is. That's like my whole gag. I just talk about a stand and go, it's terrifying, because at the end of the day, they all are, but...
Yeah.
What an introduction of get the parfait.
Yeah, we need the parfait up. Hold on, let me get that. That's very important.
Jobin's introduction rules. I think we don't need to, like, everybody knows it's awesome. It's like, oh my god, he's so cool, but then he's like, oh, he's just a big man-child, and like, but there's still something off about him.
JoJolion is oops all man-children.
Oops all man-children, and I think part 9 might continue the trend, maybe. We'll see. Norisuke talking about the flow and the spinning melon parfait are such good world building. Yeah, honestly, I agree.
Yeah.
The flow of fruit parlor is great. I love how cool Norisuke becomes in these chapters. Every day is summer vacation. Jobin literally a Disney villain introduction. He's looking for that melon. Oh, there it is.
There it is. There's my child.
Dude, the things I would do to this parfait.
Don't say that about my child.
Oh my god.
There it is.
So let's break it down. What are the layers? He explains it in like where's the diagram?
So we got on the top we got cut melon with an original price of 7,500 yen. That's about $75, I think.
That's good.
Jelly and whipped cream right underneath that.
Oh my god.
Then ice cream.
Oh my god.
Then melon granita. I don't know what granita is.
No, I want to try it. It sounds crunchy.
Then champagne sherbet,
I didn't even know they made that flavor.
crunchy corn bit. I don't know about that.
No, you know what? Let him cook. Literally, let him.
You know what? I trust Norisuke.
job.
It probably goes with it. Melon jelly, and then more whipped cream.
Oh my! And
Then it's just melon juice at the very bottom.
he's like, but I know what you're thinking. The glass is so narrow that you're gonna mix everything together when you take a bite. That's the point. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy's
the act of pulling the spoon up, man.
Norisuke. This is Norisuke's life work.
And you know what? His life work is fantastic.
Hold up. Kick 13's onto something. 9 ingredients, 9 parts. Let's think about this. Pull up the layer again.
People have said that. I don't understand the theory.
No. Here's the theory. So cut melon with an original price. That's Jonathan. He's cut. You know.
Yeah, okay.
Jelly and whipped cream. You know, Joseph's a little. He's got his whips. Ice cream.
Wait. No, hold on. This makes sense, because number 2 is whipped cream, and then number 8 is also whipped cream. How does JoJolion end?
With Joseph, exactly. Ice cream, it's a very common dessert, and part 3 is the common man's JoJo part. Melon granita, I don't know what it is. It sounds crunchy. Champagne sherbet, that's Italian, man. That's an Italian. Crunchy corn biscuit.
That sounds like Stone Ocean.
Rocks are crunchy when you eat them. And Jolene's
that's prison food.
Jolene's biscuit. Melon jelly. Johnny is. Yeah. Whipped cream, and then finally melon juice. And what is
that's
that?
Just like everything compressed and just made into a juice.
That's what November Rain does. It wrings you out like a rag.
The stupid theory.
Honestly, if you have to make a cut of the stream, just have this one section and nothing else.
Johnny's legs are jelly. No.
True. So true. Oh my.
Josuke, when you're in my household, remember that. Otherwise, you won't be able to find any good fruit. And you know what? He didn't remember it, and he never did find the good fruit.
What was Norisuke cooking? A parfait, but like
Norisuke, he knows, man. He knows something.
This theory more true than any of Aeon's theories. Aw, dude, you're in the Yamcha pose in the crater. You're gone.
Oh man, that's just where I sleep.
You don't cook parfaits. You cook a corn biscuit, and you put that in the parfait. I'm right. Yeah, no, Jobin's introduction was after this, and this was honestly, yeah, you're right. This chapter owns. This is awesome.
Great chapter, man.
Jobin, I don't know. Jobin, I love him so. He's so cool. He has a golden Lamborghini.
Why the fuck? Every single JoJolion villain except the main one, great. All right,
wrong.
that's not true.
Poor
Apex
Tom.
Twins. Poor Tom. He's not bad. He's just weird.
He's just weird. The twins, I guess the twins they're not characters, and they shouldn't.
They're not supposed to be like these compelling characters.
Urban Gorilla, Wu Tomaki. People hate Wu Tomaki. I think he's funny. He's like, I never fail, and then immediately fails.
I hate Wu Tomaki.
I like him. I think he's funny. Now picture all JoJolion villains gluing spikes to their clothes.
It's just their fashion sense.
God, he's so cool. He's so cool. We're looking at a Jobin panel right now.
Hold on, let me get it up.
He's so cool.
He's so cool. He's like Chris Pratt. He's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's so cool.
Jobin will be voiced by Chris Pratt. He's so cool.
He's so cool. Look at that.
And honestly, like, I know.
Why are his abs exposed? How does that shirt work?
No, I know people have been drawing this comparison. You have been drawing this comparison, but look at him right next to the JoJo Lands.
Yeah,
like,
he has the same kind of hoodie.
Same hoodie, like.
I guess Araki just kind of likes drawing it that way. He's Jobin's bastard child.
Also, I'm just gonna say it. If there are any people that draw JoJo fan comics in this chat, you are missing out on a gold mine of content. Jobin meeting Mitsuba. Why? Like, just any romance, like cute romance between Mitsuba and Jobin. You are sleeping on this opportunity. Because think about it, he'll be talking about like his Beatles, and then she's like, wait, you're a stand user too? Oh my god, and maybe Mitsuba was in it for the money at first, but then she learned to like Jobin as a guy. There are so many things, you're missing out on these opportunities.
Do you think Mitsuba had a stand before she met the Higashikatas? I feel like you just hang around them for long enough and you
maybe
weird powers.
New JoJo is trans. Yeah, no, he got that T-boy swag. No, he got that T-boy swag. You can spot it from a mile away.
Really? Alright.
He's wearing a crop top.
I guess it's possible.
Yeah, he's got like the crop top hoodie and a jacket under. Unless this is all one outfit. He's so cool. He's so cool. Dog, look at my lawyer. I'm going to jail.
The idea of like a proxy fight with stands.
Yeah.
There's something really fun about that.
I think my favorite is that Jobin just goes like, Jo-shu, stop gassing me up. You gotta gas Joe's campus.
They both kind of have the idea that some shit's going on. Something's up here. But, you know, fucking how that plays out, it's different. This family photo, man. This family photo.
Someone said the robots means he's not Yankee.
Oh, right. That's like another implication because at the very beginning of the JoJolion, Norisuke is talking about like, oh, if you pick the teddy bear, then you're a Yankee. If you pick the robot, then you're not a Yankee.
I never realized that. I'm learning new things. Dude, imagine you go home and this is your family. I would go to school if this was the teacher, if this was what we were learning, if this...
Why is Tsurugi wearing a beret?
Oh, yeah. Wait, remember when you erased K from the photo?
That's what I hate about this thing so much. What is... I still don't understand, man. Was it one of the editors? Did they just want to focus on the Higashikatas for some reason? So they Holland her out?
Hey, man. It's all good. It's not, but hey, it's all good.
There's so much shit that just happens, and there's no reason for it to happen.
No. I think there is a reason. I think there is a reason. Norisuke was opening up Photoshop on the family computer. He's like, this lady's not really in the family, so I'm gonna... I want to display this photo and not have my guests ask, hey, who's the maid? I want them to ask about my family.
I was also, like, there's something that I was going to mention back when we were at Shakedown Road, but I forgot to. But now is as good a time as any. Gappy essentially, like, meets Kay, and he's like, oh shit, you are, in some sense, my sister, and no follow-up occurs. They have the same goal, and they never pursue it together.
Yeah.
They are on the same team, with the same objective, and are like, there's no reason that they should not be working together at all times. And she doesn't come back until midway through Wonder Review.
Yeah, I get it.
Remember when you got banned from YouTube and someone added your icon onto K Lamau? Oh man, I forgot that I got banned from YouTube.
That was the fastest I think I ever made a YouTube video. When I was like, guys, what are you doing? Let's get him unbanned.
I'm still really thankful, like, all the people that like came to support me for that. That was really great.
Has the same goals as Protagonists and is technically family. Refuses to elaborate. Dies.
Alright.
Spicy goodness. Dies.
Alright,
so Beetle Tendency is great.
Beetle Tendency is great. I don't really think there's much you need to say other than that. It's a fun fight.
This is part with media criticism in general. When something's good, it's hard to talk about it, but when something's bad, you know why it's bad.
I mean, it just works, man. Like, it continues to be interesting the whole way through.
Chat, quickly, say everything you like about Beetle Tendency. Now! Go!
Jobin is hot. There we go. That's enough.
Go!
Jobin is quirked up. Yeah.
You're not typing fast enough!
I love eating bugs. Good for you.
Me too!
Alright. I think we got enough on Everyday Summer Vacation. Yeah. Just fun.
Dubiwa, I honestly... Let's get back to the volume covers.
Dubiwa! Aisho is super underrated.
Aisho is super underrated. And a great follow-up to Yotsuyu. Oh my god,
it's a shame that Toru ruins everything about Aisho, but we'll get to that.
Aisho best rock human? I'm inclined to agree.
Like, I don't even think there's any contest on that.
I don't know. Damo's hot.
All right, yeah, Damo is like,
But Aisho,
qualifies.
in terms of nuance, Aisho.
Aisho is the most nuanced of them. His nuance is all removed later down the line because rock humans apparently can't love.
He tried. He tried. He tried his hardest.
All right, we'll get to.
And honestly,
we'll get to that.
I like you learn this arc. You learn about Jobin's role in this organization. You learn that he's kind of like buying, and you're like, okay, here's the peddler. Aisho. Honestly, here's the problem.
If there's any issue that I have with this arc in particular, the stand is kind of boring in its application.
That's fine, but I like that it just allows Yasuho and Tsurugi to take the forefront and really work on things.
Right. Yasuho and Tsurugi, when they're not facing each other, they have a really good dynamic.
Yeah. Honestly, what I like is that one of my issues with JoJolion and Araki's writing style is that he'll introduce a character with a personality, and then the personality will kind of subside into his like overall like go-to personality.
Yeah.
But Aisho,
Aisho has Totoro light.
Yeah, Aisho has a very distinct aura to him, and it never goes away. Like he's finicky. And it's like and
he's
at first,
nervous. He's
and after you learn about his backstory, you're like, okay, this guy's gonna be a pushover, but you still learn he's competent. There's a reason he's in this organization. Jobin Bus. Yeah, honestly, that's the last. Yeah, I think that's just
funny.
And then there's the one panel that everybody keeps reposting where it's like me when I why is he doing the Lin-Manuel Miranda pose? What's he got up his ass?
Aisho's a funny guy, man.
Me with the Rokakaka shoved up my ass.
Walking into Denny's. All right. Yeah. And
I like
it's fun.
And after this battle subsides and Yasuho meets up with Josuke, that's like the moment everybody talks about because it's really cute. Because it's like, oh my god, these two really well drawn images of Yasuho and Josuke. And then Josuke goes, Tsurugi, I'm so glad you're okay. Yasuho's like, what? Who are you? Oh, band-aids! I see. He has his quirks.
It kind of like just sums up Yasuo's character there. Her most iconic image is one where she's covered in bandages.
It's such they're really, like, Araki was like, the pen on fire image, him drawing those two panels.
Why does he care about Tsurugi?
I don't know. He's got his quirks. To be fair, a thing with part 8 that I kind of forget is that there's implied time that Josuke's just hanging out with the fam.
There isn't much, though. It only takes place over the course of, like, a month.
Really?
Yeah, like, you can map it out, and the timeline doesn't make a lot of sense, but, like, it definitely occurs within, like, a month or two.
Josuke was 1 month old when he toppled the Rokakaka drug trade. What's your excuse? Rugi, you're okay. We should fix that.
Shit child.
Oh my god. And then we get large fries after that. Like the only time I'd say they went on a
character moment.
I'd say that's the closest we ever got to them being romantic.
And then Gappy just ditches her for Carrera. And we go on a tangent for like 3 chapters.
No, when we were asking about...
I like Carrera. Yeah, but like, they did Yasuho dirty with that.
You know, I'm not gonna... But to be fair, Carrera does a good job at introducing Josefumi. Yep. But what I will say is, I think it's really, really funny that earlier we were saying, what's the worst arc? And people were saying Love, Love, Deluxe. And I'm like, come on, you guys.
Love, Love, Deluxe is great.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, the best part about the arc is just Josuke wailing on the twins with his... I
like Carrera's antics. She's a really, like, interesting, unique character. She's, like, very... like atypical for kind of female characters in manga in general.
Yeah. What I'm looking forward to is if JoJolion gets animated, I just want to see her walk cycle animated.
Carrera wobble walk.
Like it's just like I visualize it in my head, but I want to see, like, I know that's probably
she kind of just like sways as if like
I feel like it looks like she's always about to fall over.
Have you ever had like one of those large planes of like cellophane or whatever, and like just wobble it up and down and it makes sound?
Oh, Josefumi's birthmark. Who cares? It's not that important.
There's a lot of like Carrera's relationship with the two of them makes no sense because I guess Araki just wanted to base it off of a recent like fashion photo shoot or something.
this chat almost slipped me by, but Melis was like, this should be Gappy's pose for like the end of the JoJolion anime. Kind of like how Josuke struck like his pose. Wait, when will he do it?
When would that happen?
Yeah, when would that? Never mind. That I thought I do like the idea. I just like volume covers. The volume covers are like my eye candy.
Have I ever told you like what I want for a JoJolion OP?
What would you like?
I really want like just like a vignette of them actually going around town and trying to figure out who Josuke is, like going door to door and asking if anyone recognizes him.
And like it's just like one kind of story. That's
and like it's Josuke, Yasuho, and then also Tsurugi with them. So like it actually feels like they have a kind of general rapport, because that never happens in JoJolion, and we're expected to
it's like
kind of act as though it does.
And then like you can have like cute little moments where like Jo-shu is like looking at him like over a bush or something. Like
you can have like moments in the Higashikata household before they leave, or like you can just get a cute story out of it. And that works better as like an opening than an actual arc.
It's weird. I want JoJolion animated before I want Steel Ball Run animated. Not literally, but like I
think it would benefit more.
I do not want Steel Ball Run to be animated with like. I want them to wait. I want them to wait. I know everybody is like, well, they should animate it. They should animate.
Steel Ball Run is not going to benefit all that much from anime adaptation. But JoJolion definitely will.
JoJolion will. Steel Ball Run is like, it's already like, just read it. It's the easiest part to read.
Yeah.
Family sitcom opening.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the I don't even know the lyrics. The baby boy. TV. Who sings that? Do you know?
Oh no, it's Family Matters though, right?
No, it's Full House.
Full House.
Yeah. I don't know who sings it, but let's keep it to that. let's keep it that way.
And now we get the go.
Oh well, let's Josefumi. He fights the twins, and there's like more. It's like, oh my god, there's the other guy, and then it's like, oh, and meanwhile, Hato's bringing this guy home. No, he's not. That's not
Josefumi.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the GOAT, Damo Tamaki.
Damo Tamaki, the greatest.
If you ever want to ask, if there's a litmus test to ask people, you go, is Damo Tamaki hot? And if they answer no, purchase a firearm and gun them down.
Can we say that on Twitch? I don't think we can say that on Twitch. Whatever.
In Roblox.
Ooh, look at that sexy man.
Now, is Vitamin C
sexy man.
The best arc or the greatest arc? Discuss. Vitamin C is top 5 entire series.
Definitely.
Easy.
Like, not even a question. Like, I can't think of many better. I think it might be my favorite JoJo arc.
I think there's what gets me mad. I'm gonna start with like design wise. Like people look at Damo and they go like, he's ugly. And I feel like they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. Like, he doesn't. It doesn't. Just the
you need to activate Hato Vision.
The fact that within like a single, it took Toru how many chapters to be interesting?
None.
He never did. And meanwhile, Damo in like 2 chapters is literally like, one by one, everybody is like eliminated, and it's like the chapter starts off. The living room is full of life. Everybody's there, but slowly it becomes more and more quiet. It's just him and Norisuke, and then it literally just turns into torture. He's like, "Hey, look." Because that's what he does. He gets results. He's like, I'm not here to fuck around.
He starts off so bumbling, and that's like kind of what makes it creepier. Like, because he's very clearly like trying to whittle his way into the house, and it just like slowly goes, and then before we get a resolution, we get Vitamin C and Killer Queen.
Oh, dude, Vitamin C, Killer Queen, it's so good.
It's incredible. What a fantastic resolution. This is what resolution looks like in JoJo, guys.
What good writing is. Dude, Kira, like, seeing Kira in action, learning more about, like, what Josefumi was like, seeing Aisho and Yotsuyu, they're back. Like, it's like these...
Ojiro is there briefly.
Ojiro is there, the GOAT. And it's like... And they have a plan, and it's a good plan. And they're like, oh, these eye drops fucking rule. And I show the one that would be tricked by that goes, I'm gonna get all these fucking eye drops. I want these eye drops. The flying fish, the boat. He's a boat doctor. Are you a man of this? It's so good.
For the longest time, I didn't understand the flying fish shit. What it kind of ends up being is like a small coincidence that sets into motion this like whole chain of events. Because of the flying fish, Kira ends up discovering the rock humans and like their whole plan.
Yeah.
And like it just sets into motion all the events of JoJolion.
And he's like, oh yeah, my mom. Oh, we didn't even talk about Holly.
Holly would be so like compelling if, well, they don't even. Yeah. It's still some shit that might happen with her. Who knows?
I think everybody kind of agrees that Holly was like is a pretty good motivator, but at the same time could have been used a bit better. But at the same time, still really good.
She's a decent character when she's conscious.
Yeah. And also, it totally makes sense, and that's why Josefumi is like so tied to Kira. Josefumi's backstory with like
Josefumi is great in this. Like,
oh my god, he's like, I drowned in the sea that day. Oh my god.
And I know people get on my back on my ass about this, but like I genuinely think it. Kiyomi is one of the more interesting aspects of just like JoJolion characters. The relationship that she has with Josefumi is really understated in like how it functions, but there's like a lot under the surface there that you don't initially realize until the very end. That was one of my favorite parts of Radio Gaga. Like the little detail we got with Kiyomi that just added so much to their relationship.
It's heartbreaking, and honestly,
yeah, like because she starts off as just like this negligent mother who just like she's in like college or something. She just kind of wants to party. She considers her kid a burden to her. It
shows Araki's growth as a writer, because I think if Araki tried writing that story a couple parts earlier, Kiyomi would have just been evil.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have he would just be like, the mother was wrong. But I think like
that small moment where like Kira walks up to Kiyomi and he's like, hey, looks like there's your son's gonna be all right, and she looks shocked, and he's like, maybe there's something else going on there.
Yeah.
That's a really small moment that just like says a lot about the character.
And Josefumi and Kira were a great team, and they're working together.
So Giorno's mother, yes.
Yeah.
Kiyomi would have just been like Giorno's mother.
And you know what? They do work together well. They have a goal. They want to save Holly. They want to infiltrate this Rokaka, and they do it. They pull it off successfully. And Damo's on the boat. Oh.
That oh shit moment.
Oh my god.
It's great.
And I love Damo. Damo's monologue with Norisuke is awesome, but this one manages to top it, because he's like, hey, I'll give you credit. We weighed it, and it was heavier. We didn't know what was going on there, but we figured maybe there was extra soil.
So I'm only gonna kill one of you.
Yeah, I'll let you guys pick, because you highlighted a genuine flaw in our system, and I gotta thank you for that. And it's like,
that fucked up mentality.
Then
it has so much character to it, but like, Jesus.
And then Carrera's walking down, the pier blows up, and someone said it earlier, Josefumi fighting off the twin. Those twins can't catch a break. They always get fucking bodied.
And it's always in hand-to-hand combat. Yeah. Never even withstand.
I still love this made the Rokaka trade feel like this is like kind of what I wish they did with the Little Squadra in part 5. Like this arc makes them relevant. Like all of them are back. Yotsuyu's back. It shows that Yotsuyu is Damo's right-hand man. Aisho still the peddler, and that's how they trick him. The twins, they're the muscle, but they're very shit at their job. They're like, Damo is the leader, and all of it comes to a head, and finally it's heartbreaking, and Josefumi's like, I'm gonna save you, we're gonna eat this new Rokaka, we're gonna be
Josefumi almost gives in. I love that, because like there's actual like strength of character being tested, which is rare for JoJo. Like every single character in JoJo typically is either some weak or some bastion of human resolve and no in between. But Josefumi, like, he falters, like he doesn't want to die, but like he's had so much suffering, he kind of just like gives in for a bit.
This is why JoJolion, when the second half lets me down a little, this is why I'm heartbroken, because this was so good.
JoJolion at its best is JoJo at its best. JoJolion at its worst is JoJo at its worst.
It's like Araki is trying this new structure of like how he's writing this part, how we're exploring this part, and it's a good resolution. And finally, when they fall into the ground after eating the Rokaka and they're birthed anew, we're back to the present. Let's finish the job. And Hato,
here's the thing.
had
All right, before we get back to that, I just want to say this whole resolution is not perfect. There are details that do not line up with what is previously established.
Hater.
But no, I'm not hating, because you know what? Here's the difference. It feels like a conclusion to what has been built up, and it feels intentional. It feels planned.
Oh my God.
We don't get that from the end of JoJolion. This is what, like, even if there are issues with, like, small bits of continuity, it feels like we have been leading up to this the entire time. And, like, Lemon and Tangerine is a landmark of build up to it. It feels foreshadowed. It feels, like, cohesive. It's fantastic. And that's why the second half of JoJolion shitting itself so badly.
Let's before we get into the second half, let's finish this arc.
Yes.
We're back to the present, and Hato finally shows off her stand. And you know what? I'm glad they didn't just write Hato off. Hato had stake in this.
Hato does something, like,
yeah, like, she had stake in this. She genuinely, like, and it shows. Again, rock humans and humans cannot coalesce because it's a two-way street. At least it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, she gets her revenge. Josuke goes to finish the job because, yeah, he should. This is fucking years making. And I love that moment where Damo's like, we should team up. And he just,
it's one last moment of desperation that, like, it feels cathartic in a way, but, like, the sheer audacity of it after all he's done, you understand why Josuke does what he does.
This arc,
in all its brutality.
This arc was so good. I'm gonna be naming my kid Vitamin C and Killer Queen, or whatever it is. Like,
I'm gonna be naming my grandchildren Vitamin C and Killer Queen.
Like, what? Daddy, why is my sister's name Rose? Because your mother likes roses. Oh, I understand. You're welcome, Vitamin C and Killer Queen Part 6, or whatever.
Dano's great, man.
Dude, he's got sex appeal. He's got a pull. I feel like people write him off too quick. And then how do you follow up this arc? Milagro Man.
Wait, is it?
I think it's,
yes, it's Milagro Man.
And then Kato.
No. We got one brief look into Kato at the prison, getting out and talking with Jobin.
Okay.
But we'll get back to Kato after Milagro Man.
Milagro Man.
Milagro Man is just like a brief interlude. It's
for the interest of time. It's fun. It's honestly a really good way to follow. Like, you follow up with a comedic relief kind of thing.
If we're being real, Milagro Man is probably the best arc in the second half of JoJolion.
Damn.
That's kind of scathing, actually.
You are ruthless.
Ozone Baby can also, like,
peaking a little early, are we?
Ozone Baby's also up there. Ozone Baby probably, like, beats it out, actually.
It's Kato, then Milagro Man. Oh, let's finish talking about
Milagro. No, it's Kato, like, briefly, immediately after Damo dies, then Milagro Man, then Dawn at the Higashikata household.
Phantom had said this. It's a victory lap, and I really like that because I use the term victory lap too. When a writer pops off so hard, I think they are always allowed a victory arc. Not to spoil, I know that we're kind of going through spoilers, but not to spoil High Voltage, but High Voltage is the definition of a victory lap. Araki earned his victory with the end of Part 7, and then he's like, hey, you know what? Fuck you. High Voltage. Victory lap.
Dawn at the Higashikata household may be one of the single best introductions I have ever seen for a character into the depth of a story. When you're introducing a character that is supposed to be, like, apparently so pivotal so late in the game, hold on, let me just put this image.
Dude, the Kato that exists in my head is so cool.
Here's the issue. I know a lot of people, like, get at me for this and disagree. That Kato is not in your head. That was the Kato we were presented with. And it is never followed up on beyond the fact that she is the mother of Jobin. That is what her character becomes.
When you look up a picture of underutilized in the dictionary, you get a picture of Kato. Radical Robin, how are you always based? How do you do it? How do you do it? I was hater's stand name. It's space trucking.
I like space trucking. I don't want to hear any space trucking slander.
To be fair, we were all like hard committing to the it'll be named like Queen something.
For the role that she ends up taking in the story, space trucking is the best thing she could have gotten.
If she was a villain,
but that shouldn't have been her role in the story.
Yeah,
like she should have been a larger player for much longer. It doesn't make it's the same situation as with Kay. It under no circumstances makes sense that she is not active in the story from the point she is introduced onwards. It just doesn't make any sense with how she's introduced.
Oh, I know what to say. Ad hominem. I don't know what that means, but it means you're wrong. No, Kato. We'll always be wondering what could have been, will we?
Space trucking was a stand name I wanted for years, only for it to be barely used. I mean, like, at least it's a cool ability that, like, has an awesome visual design.
And you know what? Just her introduction as like the mother, like she's like, I care for this family a lot even though I've been gone. I think the only issue with her introduction is the common issue with a lot of JoJolion things that I don't like. Look at him. Look at him sitting there. He's not even on the bench, that dumbass. Jo-shu, what's wrong with you?
Jo-shu,
he needs help. He needs help.
If his character led somewhere, I wouldn't have mind Jo-shu being such a creep in all these scenes, but he just doesn't add anything at the end of the day.
I fucking love that it's like, Monologue ends, surely I have something too, something of value to contribute.
Immediately.
The next chapter, let me suck on them titties!
Immediately undoes every good sentiment given to him.
Jo-shu just vibing, leave him alone. I will not
He is not just vibing.
I will not rest until he is obliterated.
He is actively vibing against people. Anyway, yeah, Dawn of the Higashikata household is incredibly, like, compelling in its own right. It unfortunately is attached to the second half of JoJolion, which...
Okay, Blue-White. People say they don't like it. I thought it was fun.
It's fine.
It's fun. It's fun. Dolomiti is also pretty nuanced.
It's a bit repetitive.
It's a bit...
At least Yasuho actually, like, gets a moment where, like, she gets the upper hand for once.
Jobin is still, like, an active player. He's an active third party. It has a lot of elements. Not much to talk about, though, outside of...
Yeah.
Although, remember when we were like, oh... Josuke mailed the package to Blue Hawaii.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Oh my god, we were...
to be honest, that was mostly just as a result of a mistranslation. That's not...
it's so
That's funny. Not too, like, bad on our part, but...
Blue Hawaii's kind of fucking brutal. Yeah, dude, the shovel. Oh my god, yeah.
We got the shovel moment. That makes Blue Hawaii worth it. Alright.
Goes hard. I know a lot of people compare it to Highway Star. I don't get the comparison, but I kind of do. It's fun. It's fun.
Functionally, the arc is, like, very similar to Highway Star.
The worst about it is that when it was coming out monthly, people were like, oh, it's Emporio! He's gonna warn us about the alternate universe! People, JoJo fans and media literacy do not overlap much.
Why would Emporio be there, man?
He's gonna warn everybody! It's an alternate universe! Could you imagine if that's the direction the story went in after? I'd be like, this sucks.
Alright, so yeah, the flashback, mother and child, yeah, I have more stuff that I need to say later on, when we get to, like, Kato's, end game plan, we'll, like, reflect back on this, but, I think mother and child is mostly, like, really good for Jobin.
Yeah.
We get, like, a lot of insight into him, and it's, like,
it's a good backstory. It's like,
it fleshes him out a lot.
It shows that, like, this is Kato's kind of, like, she imprinted
her, like, ideals of the world onto her son.
And, like, they're wrong, but it's understandable why they think that way.
Yeah.
Man.
Remember when she implied that, like, some shit about refusing to let men control their life, and then we got nothing else about that?
Yeah.
And she doesn't do anything with Norisuke for the rest of the part?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get another image up.
Yeah. Let's get rid of Kato here. Oh, and then we get an introduction to
Mamazuku. Oh my.
one of the characters of all time.
Mamazuku. Okay, here's my thing with Mamazuku. I think that Mamazuku is pretty cool.
I think Mamazuku works as a character. He's fun. He contributes a lot when he's around. But he feels disconnected from the main plot.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. People like act like Mamazuku. It's like if like they're like the JoJolion trio, Josuke, Yasuho, Mamazuku. Mamazuku shows up really late into the part.
2/3 into the part. To be fair though, he stays like an active member all the way through to the end.
And honestly, he has a really good character introduction. I remember we were theorizing. We were like, oh, this is Rohan. He's gonna have Heaven's Door. Like
he's a very Rohan-esque character. I think like that was Araki's intention to essentially make him the Rohan of JoJolion.
But I like that, like, we now have a new direction. It's like, hey, we're gonna go get to the planet appraiser so we can find this new Rokakaka. It's like, okay, Mamazuku. He steals the bus. He's like, the enemies are already after us. I'm like, I love them. And he's like, I live on a ski lift. I'm like, I love this guy.
He's just like cool all the way around. He's fun every time he's
honestly, I think he is the definition of baller.
Yeah.
He is so baller.
He's just great. Like everything about Mamazuku is just fun. Man,
why does he know about
Snoop Dogg?
Why does he know about the spin? He's a planet appraiser. That's what they do. They know about
the
spin.
fact that he knows about the spin isn't really the issue. It's just that he only knows about it when it becomes necessary for plot.
He was
we'll get to that though.
Too. Dude, this guy.
He was caked
Dude,
up.
this guy's ass went on for days.
He's got that ass. If there's one issue that I have with Rai Mamazuku, it's the fact that he feels completely disconnected with everything else going on in JoJolion aside from his relationship to Norisuke. Which is why there's not a lot of like changes that I believe like JoJolion would be actively better in every way if you just like slid in there, except for this one, making Rai Mamazuku a rock human. This would just like single-handedly improve everything about both the rock humans and Mamazuku.
You're always cooking. You're always
I've mentioned this a few times.
You know, you have. And I genuinely, it's a good headcanon. Well, not headcanon. It's a good, like, fan idea. I like it. It's a good, because you're right. It would have a lot of nuance.
It was a massive missed opportunity. And the main reason I say this is, one, we do not have a perspective for the rock humans that is not like unequivocally negative.
Yeah.
Every single rock human we know of, aside from Aisho, is pretty much evil.
And not to be racist, but all rock humans know each other? Come on. Come on, Araki. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Actually, no, Dolomiti actually is kind of the only rock human that's not related.
But Aeon, sometimes other races are inherently evil. Yeah, I hate that idea.
Hey, let's just change the conversation. I don't like where this is going.
It all comes from this idea of the Kingdom of Hats, which is this trope in media of, alright, we have a species that is essentially human but altered in some way, and they're more focused on a certain aspect of humanity. For the rock humans, it's their parasitism and their isolation from others. They lean way too hard into that though. Araki does in the way that like it basically makes them irredeemable and not really like expressing their sentience as individuals. Here's the thing about humans. If there's something that humans do more than anything, it's defy reason. We do not adhere to like what makes sense all the time. And to take that away from the rock humans is to essentially take away their agency. If rock humans cannot deviate from their quote-unquote programming of being these parasitic beings, then, like, do they really have any agency in the story?
as a rock human, I just feel like reading JoJolion, I'm like, this is fucked
Doesn't
up.
properly represent me.
Look, I get it. I'm a bit disconnected from society. I feel like I don't have it all going on, but I'm not evil. What the fuck am I reading, man?
And here's the thing, Rai Mamazuku, he like exhibits many of the traits of a rock human. He's very isolationist. He doesn't live with anyone else. He like prefers to be alone on the ski lift. He's not very friendly. He like basically bullies Yasuho every time she's on screen.
He literally shoves her off the fucking thing, and it's really funny.
He's very like mission based as opposed to anything else, but that's what would have made his character like shine that much more, because if he is a rock human, then the relationship that he has with Norisuke suddenly becomes that much more poignant. The relationship he develops with Gappy, to the point where he eventually sacrifices himself, that would have been a lot more poignant, especially when he sacrifices himself when facing another rock human, one who rejects this idea of love.
Also, what I will say is that even Urban Gorilla character-wise is not that strong, but I think what makes it work is that it allows Mamazuku Rai to still be the main focus of this arc. And it works. I think it's a very fun fight, and I think the ski lifts is a very good thing. Mamazuku showing off doggy style, which also, again, I know he's a baller guy, but the song, the reference fits, because, like, he's baller. He's listening in the fucking doggy style.
G-Funk's intro is a great song.
Yeah. You get it. Dude, the crossbow scene, I think, is so
cool.
good. Oh,
and the fact that he like ends up cutting his fingers off, and they're like that for the rest of the story. I like that a lot.
Oh my god.
Some good continuity in a section of the story that really doesn't exhibit much continuity. But
and then he's like, and this is the arc where he's like, our enemies are probably going to be the doctors, and I'm like, and
that one section where he's like, they may even be kings, that haunts me to this day.
I remember reading our enemies are the doctors, and I'm like, well, I mean, he's obviously gonna be wrong. Like, doctors as the villain, that's stupid. We're gonna go back to Kato.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but yeah, it's
prioritize healthcare is evil, right, Mamazuku?
You know Rocky went to the hospital once after the vitamin C, like he had to get stitches or something, and he's like, all right, I hate these guys.
Araki met one hack doctor at some point, and he held on to that grudge. He never gave it up. Fucking Chocolata, fucking the TV doctors.
He hates the hospital.
He hates doctors.
Doctors hate him? No, he hates doctors.
Unless they're on a ship. He likes ship doctors.
True. But he did end up killing that guy.
True. Also, he compared him to a serial killer, so maybe not.
COVID pandemic happens much later.
COVID pandemic wasn't until around Wonder Review.
Yeah, Wonder Review starts, and then like a couple months later, pandemic kicks off.
Yeah. Yeah.
He became a mangaka because of a doctor? Is that true? People can just say things.
Who knows?
COVID ruined JoJolion?
Possibly.
Good chance it did.
I don't think it was all COVID, but like
reading the Thus Spoke Ron Kashibe about the pandemic was like, I was like, I understand Araki was probably really going through it, because he seems like a guy that really just likes going out and learning things and then going back home, and I feel like being stuck and pent up really did a number on him.
Like, as much shit as I ever give JoJolion, it's never like shit that I give directly to Araki, like speaking on his abilities as a creator. Everyone was suffering around like the time of the pandemic, and like it was likely very difficult for him to stay motivated during the time period, and I empathize. Like,
you want to talk about the Lego White House before we, just because I'm just trying to keep it chronologically.
Ozone Baby's fun. I really like that, like, Jobin and Tsurugi get this victory moment. And I also, I like that Jobin is finally like, I'm gonna be my own agent in this story. And I also like that it's like, Jobin gets fucked, he's like,
they're on my side. No, not anymore. They're not working with you. There's 3 parties. There's poor Tom and the other mystery rock humans. There's Jobin and Tsurugi. And as stupid as the setup is for this stand, once it's going, you're like, oh my god, this feels rough, because they're struggling to breathe. They're doing everything they can. Jobin, everybody's doing their thing, and the orchard's burning down. I remember we were reading that, we're like, this has got to be, we're close to the end.
Yeah.
How little we knew.
Yeah, Ozone Baby is just like, it's a really kinetic fight. It just like goes and it keeps some momentum, and there's always something interesting going on. I really like the moment at the end with where Gappy is confronting poor Tom, and he has like layers upon layers of bubbles. That was such a unique
and
application of his ability.
And I remember that entire month we were like, what's in it?
What's in it? And there was nothing inside.
It was a bluff.
Yeah.
Honestly, you were saying Melodrama was best the second half. This might be for me.
I think it beats it out.
Thing. And honestly, it's like, someone said it earlier, panel of Jobin and Tsurugi holding the stick is so cute. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, we did it! We conquered them! Like, we did it! We rose to the top!
And it gives us one of the best pages in all of JoJolion. Gappy walking up to a pile of spaghetti on the floor and saying,
Mamazuku,
thank God you're okay, Mamazuku.
It's so dumb! I think, no, what I also really like is that at the start of this arc, it's like, we're never, like, there's this big orchard, we're never gonna find this new Rokaka. Mamazuku gets her, it's right there.
He's good at his job.
He's just like, are you fucking stupid? It's obviously that. You see the branch is a slightly different color. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, shit, no, it was different lighting, never mind.
Let's see.
Alright, after that,
it's like, Jobin goes, yeah, the doctors probably took it. Me when I lie. And Mamazuku's like, he's lying, but we should probably go.
This is around the time that, like, this is when we meet Mitsuba and get a redesign.
Yeah, Mitsuba's redesign. Awaken 3 Leaves, it's a really cool ability, but the design,
Design is sick.
I want to hug this stand so bad. I want to just give it a big hug, because this, oh my god, I want to be like, also, I still don't know the song reference. Does anyone?
Who knows that? It might be Awakening the Centuries by Haggard, but who knows? It probably isn't. It's probably some niche thing that only Araki knows about.
Does he know?
Does he know? He does not. Mitsuba's interesting because, like, original design Mitsuba is not someone that I could see falling for Jobin. New version of Mitsuba, absolutely I could see her falling for Jobin.
That's what I'm saying. I would love like a comic where it's like Mitsuba like starts dating Jobin as like a money thing, and then she's like, oh, he's a good guy. He's weird, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm goofy, so she let me in. Why does Noriko...
He might be a man-child, but he's my man-child, you know?
Chewy Dog, that's because to fight the rock disease, or like a superstition, was the oldest son had to dress as a girl up until Araki,
like 12 years old, whenever they did the exchange. Usually,
let's just ignore that Jobin wasn't dressed up as a girl. Let's just ignore that.
Don't worry about it. They probably just gave up on Jobin.
Fuck them kids. You want to get a new image, by the way? Yeah, my best thing about this arc is that it's like Wu Tomaki, we get to see how the Rokaka is used as medicine, but more importantly, Wu Tomaki's like, I never fail. Fails immediately. He's such a train wreck, I love him.
Oh man, he's just a fucking disaster. Now here's the thing. This arc kind of highlights a problem that I think JoJolion has. It's weirdly, like, unnecessary. Alright, there's instances of sexualization in JoJo which I think are, like, completely fine. A lot of them. Most of them. But at times, like, it just feels weird and out of place in JoJolion, and, like, fucking the ass shot of Wu Tomaki going up Yasuho's ass
Wait, that happened? I blocked that from my memory. Are you for real?
That happens. It's like an upward shot. It's really...
Dog, look at my doctor! I'm gonna fucking die!
It just feels like kind of... It doesn't feel like JoJo sexuality. It feels like just regular raunchy manga.
Body horror. Yeah, Araki has this thing where, like, sometimes his body horror goes a little... No, I'm not gonna say it goes too far, but sometimes it's, like, specific characters get... It's always the women. I feel like, when, like, sometimes, like, body horror on the men and women don't always feel equal.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the highlight of this arc is that we understand, like, oh, this is how the doctors are, like, using this shit as medicine. We're also stalling for time by lingering on Wu Tomaki, because after this... Sorry, we're pulling a very specific peg.
We're here. Get your fucking thesis statements out. Get your essays.
Toru apologists, you might want to start getting ready. Because this panel is the beginning of the end. This panel marks the end of days. Why? Why do you exist? I hate you. Why is he here? Dude was cooking nothing. His ass ain't cooking.
Is he the worst character in JoJo?
Yes.
Alright,
you don't understand. He's like Prometheus. Shut the fuck up. You're wrong. You're just wrong. I tried. I tried so hard.
Let's make actual arguments instead of just bitching.
I tried so hard to like him. I really did. I wanted to get it, and for a minute I did. It was, and then me and Aeon go to the same college. I was home for the holidays, and I'm like, oh, I kind of get him. I come back, we meet up, and I'm like explaining. I'm like, actually, I think I get it now. You immediately poke holes in every piece of hope I had, and I'm like right back to hating him. I'm like, I blame you for this. I'm so close. Because my argument was, if you ignore him, he's actually a really good character.
But have you considered that he's like Prometheus?
Ban that guy. Hold on. Toru is the 9/11 of JoJo? Kato is worse? The Kato in my mind is better. Toru's the worst villain in manga history. I just don't understand. It's like, I tweet out Toru sucks, and then the apologists go, you just don't get it. No, I'm pretty sure I get it.
I have devoted way too much time to trying to get it.
And the more you try to get it, the less you see. The more you pursue him, the less you have. Curious how that works.
He is a calamity.
My JoJo OCs are better than fucking Toru. Dude, look at my doctor. I'm gonna die.
Alright, let's start from the beginning of the Wonder Review arc, and
we have to.
We have to do this, man. We have to set this right.
Why is he on the part not? Oh, that was a big mural. He's not gonna.
Yeah, he's part of the
knock on wood, right?
Hopefully he's not.
Oh,
hopefully we've seen the last of him.
Ojiro returns. Flash forward. You hate the flash forward.
Okay, that's the first thing we have to go through. Alright, we'll go to that when we actually get to the end of JoJolion. That's probably a better way of doing it.
Yeah, you're right.
Alright, so they're fucking in the parking lot. They're discussing, alright, we still got Satoru Kefu to figure out who this is. We gotta mark that guy.
Hey, I appreciate people who go Wonder Review is a really good stand, though. I get it. Wonder Review.
I like Wonder Review. Unfortunately, it's attached to Toru.
Even then, Wonder Review is just kind of an I win button.
Yeah.
It's Final Destination, the stand.
Actually, I take it back. I don't like Wonder Review. I like Wonder Review's design.
Yes.
And I like its, idea, its general concept. I fucking hate how it's implemented.
Toru the idea versus Toru the man.
That's what it comes down to, ultimately.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give us credit. We held off for 2 hours and 30 minutes before we eventually started talking about this guy.
Yeah, we managed.
Oh my god.
Alright, fucking...
Look at my doctor.
We can't keep bitching. We're on a time limit.
I know.
So fucking Toru comes out. He talks to Yasuho, and she's like, "Oh, Toru, hey, you're here." And then he's like, "Our hands are intertwining." This guy is such a fucking creep, which is honestly a good thing for his character, because that's one of the few character traits he has that's actually like.
He looks so bad. I think that's the big thing. If he was hot, if Toru had a good design, I would forgive him. I would be like, I would try to be figured. But every time I look at him, I get mad. I just... Because I get it. He's not supposed to look intimidating at first. Because he was a bait and switch. And honestly, that's what I'll give him credit for. Reading month to month, slowly figuring out that this guy is just not right. That worked really well, and it was great for a monthly read. But when
here's the issue though, it wasn't that slow for me. I figured it out like right away, and I was just like, there's gotta be more to this than what my theory is.
I'm not as smart as you.
No, because like that was one of the few theories that I got right, and I hate that I was right about that, man.
Oh, remember? Oh, he has such great quotes like, "Remember when my fingers made you soaking wet in high school, Yasuho?"
The 89-year-old rock groover. That fucking image that I made like 3 years ago, that just keeps giving as JoJolion goes along.
I love Toru's design. It's the only thing I like about him. Me, when I'm delusional, I'm sorry to call you out.
If we're being real, Toru's design in the black and white and in Araki's colors, they're pretty decent. The Shueisha colors fucking obliterate everything good about it.
I don't know what happened with Shueisha and the coloring of JoJolion. I think they just gave it to the interns after a while. Probably something to do with the pandemic too.
Yeah, there was something that happened. It took a while to get the like last 2 volumes, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like they probably had to rush it or some shit. I don't know.
Me too, man. Me too.
This fucking one panel where they got the 2 hands together and there's like a million different fingers that are coming out of nowhere.
This is AI art.
This is AI art.
AI generated panel. People genuinely thought this was like build up to like a thing, but no, it was just.
I think the intention is just
like motion.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be motion, and it just doesn't look that way in the colored manga.
Rohan versus AI chat. That would be a dope ass.
That would be a great
smoke. Yeah.
There's something supernatural about the AI shit.
And then it's just like, and then Rohan's like, at the end of the day, I'm an artist, and artists like me do one thing really good. Twerk. Work it.
Okay, alright, back to Wonder Review, unfortunately. Alright, we'll just skip the fucking flash forward and come back to it.
Yeah. We know.
Alright, so Mitsuba and Tsurugi.
Yeah, let's talk about Tsurugi. Tsurugi has a lot of build-up that goes nowhere. The flash forward builds up something's going on with Tsurugi. Tsurugi at the school builds up that something's happening. When Ojiro returns, something happens. But ultimately, Tsurugi, and all of it, I guess you could say, builds up to the rock disease finally manifesting, but it feels like...
It feels like it's supposed to imply something about his ability that's changing, but like it all ends up just like being it was Wonder Review around there or something. I don't know, like Araki builds up Tsurugi as like an antagonistic force, especially with the flash forward, and nothing about that pans out. The thing that bothers me the most about the flash forward is it straight up lies about Tsurugi's like expression during this period of time. Yeah. Like he's looking around, he's being all shifty. That's not how he would be acting if the flash forward was actually what it was supposed to be.
I find it really funny that the only guy that was in the body bag in the flash forward is one of the few people that survives. That's really funny. This is actually
dramatic
it's all
irony.
meant to be a red herring, so you think Wonder Review is a Paper Moon King illusion? I don't think that was...
that was the intention, I don't think that was like conveyed as well as it could be.
Yeah, if it is, Did you guys get that red herring? I'm not sure.
There was something that a lot of people.
That's a really good like.
It was something that a lot of people theorized, but I think there was too many other like different factors at play to consider that.
Yeah.
The flash forward is me when I lie. True.
Alright,
So that was a fucking lie.
yeah, just
School shit.
Mitsuba being a Karen,
I like
she's
that.
got a rock nose. I like the rock nose aspect of
permanent
yeah
design change.
I wish that all the things that happened.
I wish
like
other
that
design changes were permanent.
Yeah.
We'll get to chapter 92 owns, so
Yeah.
that's something to look forward.
We have something to look forward to. Alright. Now the first proper chapter of Wonder Review happens, and that's when they start pursuing the head doctor. Now these first 3 chapters of Wonder Review
Are just
I think are genuinely good.
yeah, and it's also just
That moment where Wonder Review, fucking naked for some reason, appears in the stairway behind Gappy. That was like a really good moment.
These are the Shueisha colors. You can get this
Yeah.
on stream. These are the Shueisha colors. This looks like a McDonald's play place. What the fuck am I with? Ew. That's disgusting. Why is that? They love their airbrush to remove
They
all the lines.
insist on airbrushing everything for some reason, and I don't understand why.
Wow, this is embarrassing.
The original, like, illustration is so good, too.
Yeah, like they ruined the line work. What am I looking at? Ew.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh my god.
Why is he red?
Why?
Why are you red?
Why are you red? Shueisha's cooking? Nah. Yeah, but the most part, it's setting up the pattern, and this is what hurt. Just read it. Like for 2 years of JoJolion, it was just there he is, run, something happens. There he is, run. What is he? There he is, run, no, pursuit, calamity,
And like they just run into Toru again, and like maybe when you're reading monthly it's not as like apparent, but when you reread the whole thing, he's just showing up constantly and it could not be more obvious what is going on with him.
I liked the theory that like he was like an assistant. He was like the second to last guy before the head doctor. Like again, it was a very interesting because there was a lot of different ways to be interpreted.
But he's always sketch.
He's always sketch.
And it's not like when he's revealed to be evil.
To be fair,
not surprising, and they act like it is.
I remember at first being on the camp where I'm like, oh, maybe he's really sketchy, but Araki is gonna pull 180 and he'll genuinely just be a nice guy.
Yeah.
Just to make us think that like, oh, he was.
He
was evil.
It was like, oh, it's too obvious. He has to be good. No, it's just that obvious.
When I'm in a competition and I can't even finish this joke because if I pursue this joke any further, I'll die. I can't imagine people reading. Yeah.
One thing that I do like is like all these different moments where like he kind of like is pushing himself back into Yasuho's life and trying to essentially be a creep. It works. Like it's compelling. Like that they have this sort of relationship that essentially Yasuho was abandoned early on, but with him trying to rekindle it, like there's a sort of test of what her feelings actually are for Josuke. Him being treated as like a love rival to Josuke though, like I don't think that's necessary. Like
yeah, that shouldn't be his lane.
This is such a weird thing to make it like a love triangle between the 3 of them. And it really doesn't work. It feels so fucking basic and beneath Araki.
What makes it heartbreaking is that when you start looking at Toru as the main villain, because whether we don't like it or not, he was.
Yeah.
It just feels like Araki was ticking the boxes. He's connected to the protagonist because he's Yasuo's ex-boyfriend. He's really powerful because Wonder of You destroys everything. He is the king of the rock humans. He is... It felt... And And again,
he just keeps piling on shit to pretend that he's always been this important, significant figure in the narrative, and it just doesn't work, man.
And I can't get mad at Araki because again,
pandemic was going on.
This
at this
arc
point
started, and then pandemic happens. My focus is not how am I going to finish the story. It's life sucks.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna finish. Like I'll
the fact that he actually like even finished the story during that time, I commend him for that. Even, but at the same time,
if I honestly putting myself in Araki's shoes,
it feels like the issues like had existed even before the pandemic arrived, and it was just the consequence of him not having everything laid out in time.
Because I can imagine it's like he was sitting at home and he was like pandemic, he has a lot of things on his mind. He's like, I'll just do another chapter for this arc. I'll just do another chapter for this arc.
Right, he was writing them as he was
and then
going.
It becomes an endless calamity, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna hard commit to this at this point. It's been going on for too long. Because, like, why try to introduce a new character and design new characters when you could just write another chapter?
Because Toru's design definitely didn't arrive until, like, the month that he was introduced into the manga. It didn't exist beforehand. Whether or not his character was in vague terms established before that point, who knows?
Actually,
but, like, the design didn't exist until, like, that one fashion model.
I just remembered. Chapter 92 came out in January before the pandemic, and Chapter 92 was the I'll save you, I swear it. So maybe we're wrong, because I remember I was walking back.
Right, it's further along, but like the issues with Wonder of You don't really arise until like after that point.
I'm talking out of my ass. I got the timeline wrong. I thought it was like right as this arc started, the pandemics happened, but that's not true.
Alright, so yeah, like parts 1 through 3 of Wonder of You establishes pretty well what's going on. Wonder of You, Satoru Kefu is actually like intriguing at this point in time, and is like has pretty established rules that it sticks to and is consistent about. And yeah, we get a little moment with like Jobin and Mitsuba,
and it's cute.
It's cute.
So cute.
He loves her little beetle nose, and like it's kind of weird, but like it's adorable.
If I'm kidding Jobin, my goal in life is to find. No, wait. I'm not gonna finish this sentence. My lawyer would buy if I don't finish this sentence. Oh, that's a good Jobin.
Yeah. This is fucking Jobin face, man. Hold on. Let me get it up on screen.
There it is.
Look at this like goofy asshole.
I'm goofy, so she let me hit. Toru feels like a JoJo version of a kid Sanako. See, everything about Toru happened at once too quickly, and everything got revealed at once. No build up. No, there was build up.
There was build up. It just wasn't. Like,
it's so weird because in theory and practice, he comes up with everything at the beginning, at the end, and at first. Yeah, that is true. He does come up. That is what he says in that one interview. He's like, I come up with the beginning and the end. Everything in the middle is kind of like.
And I believe him. I believe the concept of calamity was developed right from the get-go in JoJolion.
Yeah, that's earthquake.
The 2011 Toku earthquake that basically devastated the Sendai region, which Araki is from, was significant to him and like was the basis of his ideas for JoJolion. That was established right from the beginning. But I don't think Toru or any of the shit with like Wonder of You was established at that point.
No.
It's just what eventually like was led to at that point.
Yeah, what I will say is that the thing with Wonder of You, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but like when I think about the final arcs of like the climaxes, part 1 is on this sinking ship, or it's in the top of this mansion. Part 2, they're on this flying volcano rock going to outer space. Part 3 is like in the skies over Carrera on the bridge. Part 4, like it happens everywhere. And then part 8, it's in a driveway.
That's kind of cool in its own way, though. The part I don't like about it is how much of it takes place in the TJ University Hospital after we spent so much time like in the hospital already with previous fights like Wutomoki and
that's fair
stuff. But the fact that it just like takes place in the Higashikata household garage, there's something about that that's just like so like quaint kind of, and like
the plane
down to earth despite the cataclysmic state of Wonder of You's ability.
Yeah.
that I enjoy it.
I just want the plane door is interesting, but that's like just kind of the ability. It's all that. It's just Final Destination. It's like, oh, this one thing happens and now calamity is coming your way, and it's
The biggest problem with Wonder of You as an ability is that Toru has no control over it. And as a result, he has no means of applying it in interesting ways. It's just random happenstance.
That's why his backup strategy is, I'm gonna throw bugs at you.
Yeah. Which the rock insects have their own slew of problems.
This is why Jobin would beat Toru, because if he threw bugs at Jobin, Jobin would eat the bugs.
This is why Jobin would beat Toru as he lies in a dead heap on the ground.
I still love
Covered in blood.
Shout out to the people on Twitter that are making the GIF called like JoJo Lands Chapter 2 and it's Jobin coming back up. Here's how Jobin can return.
Okay.
I love the copium. It's gonna kill
That's how you knew Gappy was a Joestar, because the plane exploded when it entered his radius. Hey, that's my joke.
True. It's not a hard joke to make.
It's not a hard joke to make, but I made that around the time the chapter came out, and I was proud of it.
After this, it's a lot of pursuit. Again, the ability is also pretty loose. It's either you're pursuing him, you're thinking about pursuing him, or you just look at him and Mitsuba's case. It's a lot. It's messy. It goes on for a while. It's repetitive. Ojiro returns. That's fucking awesome. Okay.
Yeah, let's just like finish off with that. Wonder of You is so goddamn inconsistent, which doesn't need to be a problem, but it becomes a problem when the very end of the arc relies on the fact that they're utilizing the rules to combat it.
Yeah.
After utilizing the rules has already been proven not to work.
And it's constantly like changing the definition. Like I remember Mamazuku in the prison, which honestly was a funny scene where the guy's like, shut up, and he's like, you see, it's karmic retribution. And the guy's like, someone kill me.
That's probably Mamazuku's finest moment.
This is why none of us are stand users, because I have never talked to someone and that made them want to kill themselves. I feel like that's only a JoJo character can do that.
Alright, Ojiro, man. Ojiro returns.
Ojiro returns. This shit was my this was my Joker. This was my Coco Melon.
You got Jobin over there communicating with all of his death flags.
Ojiro returning is just such a it's so charming. Ojiro's charming. It's nice to see him back. Jobin gets to do again. Jobin is a character again, and you know what? Jobin's actually like again. His character's advancing. He's going down a darker path. It's a good setup for chapter 95.
Yeah.
I think honestly, as much as I want to say on it, I know we're on a time limit. I feel like there's nothing left to say. It's just good.
Ojiro returns is just a fun interlude.
It may be my god, he's so
although it starts
he's 23, he's so scrunkly. I want to beat him.
How the fuck is he 20? No, why the fuck is
so Kiryoshikage was bullying a minor. Or no,
I don't understand the rejection of the power being abstract. Calamity took many forms, and the whole arc has a downward spiral pace of things continuously getting worse and worse. I find it very thrilling. That part is the part of it that I find compelling and really like about it. But if you're going to do that, then you can't at the end when Kato is abusing the fact that apparently she's attacking Toru without the intent to attack or pursue him. That's such utter bullshit that just does not work and fucking relies on adhering to rules that up to this point have not been consistent.
Yeah.
If that never happened, it wouldn't be such a problem.
Yeah, and then, Ojiro, the Ojiro interlude ends, and then it's chapter 92, the best of this arc. Josuke, get the baller pick of Josuke going, I save you, I'll swear it. That's, oh my god.
Alright, yeah, we got some stuff before 92, but we can just skip to 92.
Yeah, it's more shenanigans. Because, again, we get to see more of, like, they're using it as medicine.
Yeah. Hold on. 92 is the best JoJo chapter period, though. Alright.
Not the best.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Not period,
Mainly,
but it's good. It's good.
It's very good, but I think the fact that it's surrounded by the Wonder Review arc and it's part of the Wonder Review arc really brings it down.
And it doesn't really. Well, it does go somewhere, but it doesn't go immediately. Like, this should be like, if this chapter happens, I would expect the story to go nothing but hard after this, but it kind of like
depending on whether we get any conclusions with Holly and JoJo Lands.
Oh, this
I think that
we're looking at the panels over here. It breaks my heart seeing her like this, Holly.
The shit with like the rock disease traveling up her body like a fucking kitchen timer.
Ew.
Like, look at this shit. We're like, the 0 is at her head, and once it gets up there, like, fucking...
Hold on. What do you think counts as an attack against Toru the head doctor? What, you expect us to know? Araki doesn't know.
Araki doesn't even know that. That's the issue.
Because Kato clearly attacks him and says, but... Kato just goes, I'm not attacking you.
Mitsuba glances in Wonder Review's direction and chops off her fingers.
It's a mess. Speaking with never implied to have an extra ability. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm just stupid. Can't fathom a stand constantly claiming based on logic and reason when it literally isn't true. 92, best JoJo. Yeah, faculty check. Yeah, it's good. Oh my god. The doctor's true face. This is before. Yeah. Oh my god, this is before we even knew that this was a stand. I mean, we kind of were figuring at this point, but.
Everything with like a Kefu posturing in the presentation, that's fucking fantastic. And it's like, so dramatic. I can't wait to see that animated.
Yeah, keep going. Get the one panel. Wonder if you feels like 3 stands in one, kinda. Mitsu was just a bad cook. We did not consider that. Maybe that was just true. That was an honest to god fuck up.
Maybe she's just dumb. Maybe it is supernatural bullshit.
Oh, we forgot Lamborghini in the tree. That's funny. Nothing more.
Nothing else to add to that. It's just JoJoism, and I like JoJoisms.
Oh my god, he's crying, he's taking the medicine. I am your
The emotional beats that chapter 92 hits on are so incredible.
Kato just went, I'm not attacking you, and it worked. I'll save you. I swear it.
Man. I don't like the fact that his underwear is light blue. I wish it was white.
Okay,
but that's it.
Okay, but hey, you know what?
There you go.
I have blue underwear.
I'm not criticizing blue underwear in general. I'm just saying he has the white hat. It would be better.
Wish, you know, for a chapter this baller, I wish the consequences of taking this fruit and him having this patch thing, I wish it stayed, but it didn't. It did not. It did not stay like this.
It's just unfortunate.
Why are you hitting me? And then he goes and he sits in the chair.
My name is Josuke Higashikata, and my memories from when I was born are long gone from this world, and they'll never come back. But even so, there's something I'm certain of. I am your son. No matter where I go, or what era I live in, that's something certain that I can believe in. Mom.
Dude, he just auras out of rage. That's so cold.
It's such a good fucking, like, short monologue. Like, this whole time we're building up to who is Gappy, what is his identity, who is he deciding for himself to be, and this resolution is just, it hits, man. Like, JoJolion doesn't hit often, but when it does, it fucking hits like a freighter truck.
This monologue, this scene is what made me go, this guy is my second favorite JoJo.
Yeah.
Like, he was always up there for me, but like, it's just, he went on a journey and it's self-discovery, and even if it's messy, life is messy, and he found his way.
I cannot put into words like how good it felt to read this when it initially released.
God, and I remember, I was, because this is how I remembered it was in January, I was walking back to my dorm, and I went to talk to my roommate, I'm like, dude, you gotta start reading JoJo, it's so good, and then, he's like, oh, maybe at the end of the semester, and then we went home, and never came back. Love the pandemic, it's fun.
Yeah. Those were some years of our life.
Yeah, and then chapter 95, I think that's the next significant chapter, because he sits in the chair. What's his plan? What
He just sits in the chair for another, like, 5 chapters.
What is he cooking? Literally anything. That his plan... What was his plan? He was just gonna hope that...
God, man, I forgot that Yasuho was just trapped in a toilet for multiple chapters.
This was awful. Reading month to month, she's still in the toilet, guys. She's still in the toilet.
She's just dying in there. Fucking Tsurugi, man, like, this shit... Alright.
It's okay.
The last shit that we have between Tsurugi and Yasuho is him essentially saying, you need to die for me now. There's no resolution for their characters, despite the fact that their relationship was genuinely very important to Tsurugi's character.
Fucking... I was... Oh my god. Okay, chapter 95 is so good. It is a great kind of follow-up to chapter...
This is adorable. Alright, continue.
Like, it's... I'm just saying words, but the whole point is that, like... It's a good chapter. Jobin is finally coming into his own. He's like, I am standing against... I'm taking my own path now. And the flash forward comes to fruition. He fucking murks until he doesn't, but he essentially in that moment tries to kill his own dad. Until he's like, I only knocked him out, whatever.
Just one thing, the chapter before, when Mitsuba, like, closes the toilet on Yasuho, that's such a weird sentence out of context. When she, like, closes the toilet down and, like, lets Yasuho, like, leaves her to her death, essentially, for the sake of Tsurugi, but that's fucking cold.
Jobin destroys the family. He divides the family in his own ambition. There are consequences to that. That is a compelling villain. That is what are they going to do? How's the family going to react? He dies. Toru just kills him. Why? Dog, why? You can't do that. You can't write something so good. You can't reveal that Jobin is finally taking a stake and then just say, but he's not the villain, so you just kill him. That's bad. That's bad, right?
Alright, here's the thing. There is a general sentiment that, like, it's premature. Like, Jobin shouldn't have died so soon, but that's part of the themes of the arc. But there is a big difference between having something be premature for the characters involved and having something be premature for the actual narrative itself.
Oh my god. I'm actually taking a lap because thinking about this makes me mad. Oh my god. And then,
good?
Yeah, no, and then we get back to the hospital because let's we've already killed.
That's important now.
Yeah, let's get back to the hospital. Let's kill Mamazuku. Hey, remember Kay? Let's bring Kay back. She's dead. Who cares? Who cares, dog? Let's kill everyone. Let's kill them all because Calamity, man. We got that final villain. We gotta kill people off. It's the final villain.
The fact that by the time we got to Kay, there was already an established pattern of character shows up, does cool thing for one chapter, dies. That people were saying it when Kay arrived, that people ended up saying it when Kato arrived, even more so. They're like, she's just gonna die after she does something cool, man. Like, don't.
Goodness, dies.
What? It's such, like, a consistent trend, and it's so blatant, man. The characters don't feel like characters anymore when you do that.
It's like... And Mamazuku, this entire time, is like, Josuke, there are things to your bubbles that you don't understand. Also, Josuke's plan was just like, I'm going to put all these bubbles in these rooms, and maybe the head doctor will just walk into it. What I will say, though...
And it would have been a decent plan if Wonder Review had any fucking functional rules.
Credit where credit's due. Another great moment in this arc is the final reveal that it's like, yes, Wonder Review is a stand. And it's like, Mamazuku's racing to the room to get to Josuke before the...
It's a great moment.
The doctor is like walking through walls, walking across the panels. It's great. And then finally we get the one shot where it's like his true face. That's good. That's fucking awesome.
Yasuho also calling to Toru, and it just moving to him and like a single panel of his eyes completely dead and him being unconcerned. That's a good moment.
I went to see Get Out again recently, and there's a scene in Get Out where one of the characters is like on the phone, like going, "Oh no, what's wrong?" And they're like completely deadpan.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Same energy.
Yeah.
That panel of
Like,
Wonder You is
he's
the best
such
panel.
a manipulative bastard.
No, the best panel in JoJo is probably. I was gonna try to find something funny to say, but it's a good panel. It's good. It's fine. It's
Honestly, like later down the line, the one panel where Gappy's pointing at Wonder of You with the bubble, and he's like,
that one.
kind of like has it up to his face. That's a contender for one of the best panels in JoJo, to be honest.
This arc, as much as we hate on it, it has its
pretty good
exciting.
moments.
It's
It's
still
just-
pretty exciting.
It doesn't work as a culmination.
It's when
of
you think
JoJolion.
about it for too long is when it starts falling apart at the seams.
It's a bunch of cool stuff happening in sequence, but like none of it means.
Dog, don't show me.
anything at the time.
So we're looking at like the manga. We're like flipping through the panels to remember things, but like right now, we're like clicking through Jobin's death scene. He's gonna cauterize the wound. Don't worry, guys. He's not actually dead. That'd be stupid if he died. He died.
It could have worked, but like
JoJo Lands chapter 2. He's coming. Oh, put the bubbles. I like these. I like this one. This is an awesome volume cover.
Yeah, they're all awesome volume covers. Araki's a good artist.
He is a good artist. I like. Also, like, at first I didn't. Now that it's been like a year and a half without his art, I used to not like the evolution of like the late part 8 art style where it's like
I love it, man. I think it's the best JoJo's ever been.
It took me a while because I really like the hyper detailed of part 7, but now I'm like, no, this is a very nice style. It's very stylized, and I can't wait to see how part 9 evolves style even more.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is again.
And then we arrive on chapter 99.
I'll let you take this.
All right.
I'll let you take this.
Chapter 99, when I originally read it, I loved it, man. Like, it was really fun. It has so much, like,
For those at home,
interesting concepts.
This is the Rock Human info dump chapter.
Yes.
Where it says Hermes and Yaba might be.
Yeah, where they make their
Yeah,
cameos.
I'll take it. And Yaba was a Rock Human. Fine. I'll take it.
And, like, the idea of the Rock Human mothers leaving their babies alone in the forest.
Wasps are weird.
And the wasp children shit. But, like, it ends up causing so many problems with how it retcons the rock human biology. So at this point, you can't even, like, be sure of what's true or what isn't true. And moreover, the insistence that rock humans aren't capable of loving humans or other rock humans. Do you know a way to just make your characters immediately irredeemable and not in a fun way, in a just boring, this means nothing for the characters, why am I going to, like, they're not even like characters at this point, they're just a force of nature. It's to say that they are completely incapable of love from the perspective of an omniscient narrator.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this chapter hit. Like, that's why it was so eluding at first, like why it seemed so promising, because the tone this chapter sets is really interesting. Like, it's like, oh my god, what's happening? Again, it's the second you think about it too long, you're like, oh, this just fucking sucks, doesn't it?
The imagery of Toru rising from the ground, covered in, like, the bits of the wasp nest, as a bunch of other rock humans rise around him, and they just walk off to the town. Like, there's something really
True. Phantom have saying, like, the god's backup plan,
that's so cool, but, like,
I hope we do get a follow. I hope we get God cameo in part 9.
I'm really hoping for. I want that off my bingo card.
Let's get God in here. What's God stand?
And the little bit where, like, we flash back to the steel ball run race.
Shueisha coloring intern, can you fetch me piss yellow and brown, please?
What the fuck, man? Why? Why does it look like this?
When I'm in a coloring book competition and my opponent is the Shueisha intern.
Dog, what is this? Because they, like, tried to replicate the...
Bro, it's cooking nothing! Bro, it's not cooking! It's burnt!
They tried to replicate the color changes in the anime, and it just doesn't work.
Oh,
It looks so nasty.
oh my god. Do you know what the worst part is? There's people who probably exclude, like, just because now when they're reading, they're like, I'm gonna read the colored version, obviously. There's... Because, yeah, reading the colored
I don't blame them. I didn't read most of JoJo in black and white, but I probably should, like, because I feel like JoJolion is so much better.
I reread Steel Ball Run in black and white, and it was awesome. It was cool. Who let him cook? Bro is... Oh, Mamazuku backstory, just to show, Wonder if you was there the whole...
Toru was around the whole time, but at least we got Mamazuku haircut out of this. It's his Fire Emblem ass haircut.
Let's speed up. Okay, we know Mamazuku dies.
Yeah.
Kyo comes back. She dies.
Fucking rock and sex.
Rock and sex. It's all here.
All right.
Let's finally get to the stand evolution. Mine.
All right. Wonder if you... no, wait. Fucking mixing it up already. God. Soft and wet, go beyond. All right.
Is bad. I think my favorite thing is when I talk to my friend about this, he's like, they explain it in like 3 different ways. They say, first off, it's the spin, but then it's also the explosive properties of Kira, and also it's like 3 different things, and then finally it's like, it's just a tiny vanilla ice. That's what it is. It's tiny vanilla ice.
All right. Let me fucking get something up here.
Yeah, let's get anything else.
Although Toru, like...
Yeah,
Toru, like, has all these menacing looks, and it just, like... His character is so nothing that it takes... It's a bit hard to take him seriously, but it'd be so good.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, there's 4 things, and the other thing is that it transcends logic because it's spinning? Or something.
Logic doesn't exist in this world. You're damn right it doesn't.
Go beyond
the moment.
I think not to gas up your coronation theory, but like go beyond. It should have just been a different design. I think that's the big shit. It should have been an evolution.
I don't even think that's the issue with it.
Think of it this way. He drank the medicine. Maybe that does something. Who cares? You're writing a story. Oh, hey Jo-shu. Hey Jo-shu. Jo-shu moment.
Remember when Jo-shu became a zombie for a second, and that was apparently Wonder View's... What the fuck does this stand do?
Mind control now.
It apparently can mind control.
Here's something I don't like about... I don't like that we gas up the new Rokakaka, and there's 2 of them. The first one, Yasuho eats it, and it's like, okay. I was like, really? Already? Yasuho? Okay, alright, there's still one more. And then Toru eats the second one, and I'm like... but the one with Toru is a bit more forgiving because, like, at least that's what led to his defeat. So I'll give him the credit for that. But I was just like, oh, yeah, Yasuho lost an arm and now she got one back and Jo-shu has baby arm. That's funny.
Here's the issue with Wonder... I keep making the mistake.
Why did the
soft and wet go beyond?
Chat, I can't ignore chat. Why does the rock in his eye just fall off? It was so cool. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he should have kept that until the end of the part.
Consequences. And they have... your actions have consequences.
No, consequences are for squares. And he's clearly a circle.
What's the opinion on Josuke 8's character change, though? I thought he became really boring. Yeah. I mean...
he has some good moments, like when he's like, damn, these Yeezys be like...
Yeezys fucking rule.
$800, man.
This is not a fault with Gappy. This is just like an Araki thing. He will write... Again, he writes a character with a really strong personality, and that personality will gradually fade into his, like, base character. But to be fair, it makes sense because, like, when the... stakes are rising, you don't have time to make Gappy a goofy dude.
I think you could do that, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And also, in this case, it works because Gappy is learning, he is developing, he is becoming his own person. He just when he's goofy because he was just born and has no memories. That's funny, but he's becoming a person. He's learning how the world works. Yeah, he's gonna call back to the goat. Call back to the goat. Vitamin C. There was a good callback.
Alright, here's the problem. Let me just get it out of the way. With Soft and Wet Go Beyond. The whole point of it is that it is a miraculous moment that saves them from, like, Toru and Wonder View, and like it's a miraculous moment and miraculous existence that saves them in the end. The miracle of your love. Here's the issue. One miracle is significant and it carries that weight with it. There are two miracles that cause this to happen. The first miracle is the fact that Go Beyond even exists in the first place.
But also, he had it the whole time.
There is no reason that he should have had it the whole time and not at all noticed it. Alright?
Because, like, I feel like when you're a stand user, you just know what your abilities are.
Not only that, but if it was there the entire time and it was like cutting through things, he would have absolutely noticed it passing through walls and creating holes everywhere.
Yeah.
People like to say that it was foreshadowed at the beginning of where like Yasuho takes the photo and she's not able to see it through her camera. And maybe it's fucking like it doesn't really work though, because Go Beyond is a separate ability from the base Soft and Wet, and like it only comes from like the birthmark or whatever. And yeah, when Rai Mamazuku looks at Soft and Wet's ability and he like touches it and is like, oh, this is made of string, there's no reason from that information that he should have been able to intuit what he eventually knows.
There were
and conveys to Gappy.
Mamazuku dies, and for 9 chapters, his omniscient spirit is going, there are things in this world that cannot be seen! Josuke, listen to me!
Everything about like fucking Rai Mamazuku's ghost fucking touching him from beyond the grave and being like, Josuke, this is what this does.
There are lines! They spin, you can't see them!
It's fucking exhausting and it doesn't make any sense, and it just feels like a rocket's been ridden into a corner.
Yeah.
Now, if the ability was established beforehand and Gappy at that point realized this isn't enough to beat Toru, I've been trying, but my fucking final gambit has not worked at all and fucking everyone's gonna die, that's when the actual miracle should have occurred. After this point,
Someone pointed out that Shueisha like fucked up the coloring on the hands in that one panel, literal K erasure.
yeah,
It's
they thought it was 2 sets of Rai Mamazuku hands.
it's just, and who's to blame him? He was talking so much.
There's so many.
It all leads and it builds and it builds and it builds, and I will give Soft and the only credit I'll give Go Beyond is that god damn, it was really satisfying to see Toru get his fucked kicked in.
This should have been the hold on. This moment, this is one of the best moments in JoJolion, single-handedly. It should have been the only miracle to occur as the miracle of your love, or whatever you want to call it.
I like how we all agree it's like one Shueisha intern doing the coloring. No, it's not a team of people, it's one guy.
This is honestly a banger coloring though. Like, they hit for this one.
Even with the piss pants.
Even with the piss pants. This moment where fucking Yasuho uses Paisley Park to move Go Beyond's bubble from the T2 University Hospital all the way over to her phone is one of the single best moments in all of JoJo. And the fact that it is watered down so much by the way Go Beyond is treated before this point, it kills me, man, because this is such a fantastic moment on its own.
True. Also, someone's saying that it has the regular show background in the Yasuho panel. Dude, Mordecai and Rigby would clear Toru. It would take like 2 days.
Oh, man. Yeah, fucking... This whole thing is exhausting.
Yeah, you want to just jump to the end?
Fucking, Kato. All right.
Kato.
Basically abandons everything about her.
That panel reminds me of the SpongeBob movie with Patrick.
Yeah.
It's the panel with like Yasuo's guy.
Yeah. Everything about Kato
is this 108?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Dog.
Kato basically comes in, ignores everything about how Wonder Review functions, just so that she could get the final kill. She basically steals the moment of catharsis that was supposed to essentially be Gappy's, that without it, he just, like, has nothing, man, at the end.
Can we just fondly remember when 107... Not even when the
we
volume...
had so much hope when 107...
First, it was the volume cover, and the playing cards were there, and we're like, oh! And then 107 ends, and Kato's there. You had
that's 106. That's 106.
That's what... Still, it was like, oh my god, it's happening. Kato main villain. Like, we were so full of hope. We were so full of innocence. And then,
except she doesn't ignore it and dies, which is even funnier. The issue is she ignores it for a majority of the time until it suddenly becomes inconvenient for her to live on for the rest of the story.
Because God forbid consequences exist.
Yeah.
Kato was redeemed by doing the same shit which sent her to jail again. Yeah, learned nothing.
She has a flat character arc. She goes to jail.
It is a circle.
It's not even a circle. Like, she goes to jail because she basically killed someone for the sake of her family, and then she dies because she killed someone for the sake of her family. Like, nothing changes, but she's treated as a hero the second time.
F-Chronicle, you're wrong. Gappy, he's arguing that Gappy did absolutely nothing to Wonder Review. No, you're wrong, because after Kato just kills Toru, we have some dramatic tension. Oh, what's this? The Wonder Review lives on. No, then Gappy shows up and then kills him.
And apparently now he can control Go Beyond without needing Yasuho, which completely defeats the entire purpose.
You get the panel where they're in an embrace after he does it, because and I remember people were like, we're like 2 more chapters, that can't be right, and you hear Yasuho going, JoJolion, this was a story. Oh, okay. Yeah,
that whole there's so many things wrong with this chapter that I don't even know where to start.
There are no love in those eyes.
There's nothing. These are dead eyes.
These are dead eyes.
These are plot obligated eyes.
Oh my god. It was like... he just shows up at the very last second. He's like, oh. There are nothing in those eyes.
Nothing in those eyes. Soulless.
Yeah, and then now let's talk about the flash forward. It didn't work. None of it made sense.
The flash forward, even if you hold into your head the idea that it's 2 separate scenes for some reason, just for the sake of being misleading and literally nothing else, it still doesn't work, because Tsurugi, even despite that, acts nothing like he should be. He should be rushing up to his grandfather and being like, are you okay? Like, so much shit's been happening. My dad's dead. I'm panicking. What? Are you all right? But he's just like stoically moving around the house, acting shifty. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, JoJolion. 9 out of 10. Yeah, it was really good.
Also,
we've been dogging on it.
2 more things. One, Toru's whole speech at this point with the fucking
Yasuo name dropping is, I think, the only moment in the entire part I legitimately hated. When she says JoJolion, I'm like,
that's an eye roll moment. Like, it doesn't. Why is she referring to it as JoJolion in universe?
what is that? Means nothing to you. I mean,
I guess she's the narrator, but like, I don't know.
Did you guys mention the countdown?
It's just goofy.
What's to say about the countdown aside from
it's wrong? It's wrong. Just incorrect.
Oh man, this was 2 years, and that was the roughest part. Just reading this.
Haha! I have actively misled the reader.
It's just, and then finally, it was like. It was 2 years of like one promising moment followed by frustration and frustration, all with the hope that like maybe there would have been an arc after this. Well, there was. It was just a flashback, and it was the Radio Gaga incident. But like we were like hoping, it was like, surely this can't be the end. And after all of that, after a pandemic where it's like you know, I'm gonna be a little selfish. It's like, I wanted something to look forward to every month, but it felt frustrating because I'm like, dog, can this end, please? But it was endless.
Radio Gaga was cute, I guess, but it felt kind of like irrelevant for the most part.
I remember sitting in the car with my friend, and my only comment was, Hermit Purple does not have the same pull as the world. They do not have the same pull.
They gave it a face.
They gave it a face.
I like to call that one Deep Purple.
Who is it? Look at this. Oh, and then Toru shows up just to make sure that you knew.
I go back and forth on whether I like this, because the fact that he's been doing this shit for like 80 years is kind of pathetic, and I like that.
Completely seriously.
But at the same time, like...
Completely seriously, do you think you could write a better ending than Araki? I will be honest, I am not a writer. I know that if I write something, it will be filled with holes, but I don't think that makes any criticisms that I may levy invalid.
Here's the thing, alright, here's the thing. We have the benefit of hindsight.
True.
We have the benefit of having discussed it with other readers. Araki did not have this, which is why I am of the mindset that you need to, like, plan mysteries, because the only advantage that a writer has over the reader base is the fact that they know in advance what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to, like, say, oh, Araki should have essentially written what I was hoping.
No, they're gassing you up in chat. They're saying your JoJolion would have been way better than Araki's.
I don't think that's fair. Like,
it's not.
It's a different story. It's not the story he wanted to write.
It's your fan fiction.
Yeah, like, there's how I would have written it is much different from how... Like, I'll say stuff like, Rai Mamazuku should have been a rock human, because I think that conforms to what Araki was trying to write. What I was trying to do with, like, Coronation Theory was not Araki's intention, so...
Yeah. Also, can I say, Granny Lucy, it's really nice to see her. Even if she dies of a cold.
Everyone dies of a cold.
Can you actually go forward into the last chapter? Josuke's final monologue in the last chapter, where he's talking about his identity.
It feels like a kind of watered down version of the chapter 92 monologue, but I still like it.
I like it. I just kind of wish that it was like he maybe like would say like something a bit more. And I like that Yasuho goes, but she was still looking for you.
Yeah.
So like,
I like
what hopeful note.
Yeah, I like the Kiyomi stuff. Like, a lot of people like get on my case about that, but like, she's a nothing character. I think the little we get of Kiyomi says a lot about her relationship between her and
Holly needed to die. That's not very based.
Holly needs something, but like, she might still get in JoJo Lands. We can't be sure.
Let's hold our breath. Also, I will say,
the moment in the bakery, though, in the fruit parlor with the Higashikata family, I love that. Like,
they're broken. It's sad. It's kind of heartbreaking. It's haunting. But I will say, final page. When this page came on, like when I'm reading the last chapter, and like I'm getting lost in each page until finally like this panel hits. I'm like Zuko in the Avatar: Last Airbender. I'm like, that's it. Where's the rest of it? That can't be it.
I disagree. Like, I was hoping
so hard.
Yeah, as many issues as I had with JoJolion, this was the absolute best way you could have ended it off.
Yeah.
Maybe like if Yasuho could have stayed a bit instead or something, but I think like everything about this page, the composition, the just like way the characters are behaving, the somber mood of it all. This is what JoJolion is about, man. Like,
cake.
Yeah, it's about cake. JoJolion is a story about cake.